Here's the problem with America, the country is broken. Cause they minds stay closed, but they mouths stay open. Get attacked and we blame terrorists, go broken, we blame the price. Blame racists for the racism, but only if his skin is white. If we don't need guns, cause we can call the police. We don't need fire extinguishers, call a fireman please. You didn't wanna build a wall and now the border is weak. Your favorite actor has a gate that's like 15 feet. Racism is gay, if you're offended, that's retarded. And tolerance is great until you speak and you're a target. If a white man paints his face black, he's a racist piece of garbage. But you put him in a dress and he's courageous and he's gorgeous. All these double standards, man, I'm tired of the noise. Freedom's an illusion if they censor your voice. Call a dad a deadbeat for neglecting his boys, but a mom kills a baby and you call it pro-choice. You act like you're so much better than us. Yeah, we know that. Who told you that you so special to a new world order? Your facts ain't facts without censoring us. Yeah, we know that. Good job, you lose, here's your medal to a new world order.
Why they hate the flag, they try to burn it to the ground. Don't do that in front of me, I'ma let off a round. Pow, scream loud, burn the city down now. Put it on the news, make them all feel proud. Look, make a system where 85% of black people fill the prison. Is it cause they black or they make bad decisions? I ain't good at math, but it seems like it's division. Or is it white privilege? I believe politicians need to be locked up. Try to take our freedoms, that's how you get shot up. Got our back against the wall, try to just stop us. More guns, more ammunition, please stock up. Election gets rigged, rights get infringed. Take this syringe, frighten your kids, show up right where you live. Make me wanna grab a rifle and just go.
You act like you're so much better than us. Yeah, we know that. Who told you that you so special to a new world order? Your facts ain't facts without censoring us. Yeah, we know that. Good job, you lose, here's your medal to a new world order. And everyone blames white folks for every little bitty thing. We don't have no one to blame, we take responsibility. They tell you be a man, then call it toxic masculinity. Then when you act too feminine, they call it white fragility.
I don't understand trans man with humility. I'm just trying to raise my kid the best of my ability. If I disagree, you try to cancel, get rid of me. You cancer, you can't be the answer, you killing me.
And I hate white supremacy just as much as you, but I ain't feeling guilty for something I didn't do. The system's killing everyone, it sucks but it's true. They kill you, then they broadcast it and call it the news.
Or they'll brainwash you through social media feeds. And if you disagree, delete you immediately. Make America China pretty easy to see. I will always remember the land of the free.
You act like you're so much better than us. Yeah, we know that. Who told you that you so special to a new world order? Your facts ain't facts without censoring us. Yeah, we know that. Good job, you lose, here's your medal to a new world order.
And we're back. That's the new song, New World Order. Tom MacDonald, y'all know this. Everybody in the chat. Hi, guys.
What up, everyone?
You gotta talk louder. Or I need to turn my headphones up.
Oh, yeah, that might help. I'll bring the mic closer, too.
Hey, guys. I'm Kat. That's Skulls. Y'all know this. Welcome. We figured we are going to do a deep dive into the new song, New World Order, that came out today. Link is in the description. Make sure you hit the like. Drop a comment when it's not live anymore, because I don't think you can do that now. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. I know most of you guys already are, but you never know.
Never know. Those Russian bots, they're not. So if you guys got a minute.
Anyway, we just thought it would be a good time to go ahead and do this. Just kind of get into some of the concepts and the lyrics. I mean, obviously the song is a banger, as always.
Yep. Yeah, and we both got the lyrics up in front of us, so we can kind of go through it and talk about it a little bit. Excuse me.
And some of the conversation is going to be bouncing off the chat a little bit, obviously. Input, ideas, thoughts, whatever. Here for it. Put them out there. We don't have to go line by line. We don't have to do one section then the next. We could do it in any order that we feel like it. I can tell you that if anybody didn't happen to get a chance to see Skulls on his reaction video that came out earlier, he got into some of the points, and which really made me want to do the deep dive. So.
Cool. Thanks for the plug.
And his channel is in the description as well. So Did you lose us? Oh, see, I told you that we're quiet.
Yeah, I don't. Here, let me check the audio real quick.
Because we're being serious. Here, I'll turn me up. There.
Oh yeah, there I am. I heard you and I heard me, so I think we're good.
Louder. I could yell.
We're kind of quiet.
Mm-hmm. Crank you up. Points up. That's louder. This way's louder. This way's quieter. Is that a little bit better? Let me know.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be right here. I mean, we can't hear shit, so.
Yeah, pretty much. I can hear myself talk, and I can hear him through the headphones, but that doesn't mean anything. If you guys can't hear us, then what's the point, right? Waits for chat to catch up.
No spoilers.
See, Skulls be quiet AF. See, told you.
What the fuck?
Oh, you're softer.
I'm softer. I'm not going for that bait.
It's good? Oh, okay, cool. It's good. Good.
Okay. Cool.
So, what y'all think of the song? Skulls, they want you to have more volume. I'm telling you, you just have to shout. But no, this song has a lot of points in it. It's got a lot to unpack. I'll turn myself down then. Hold on. Good. We need a balance.
Yeah, once we find the levels, we'll pretty much be good for ever. So.
Ooh. There's shade being thrown in chat right now. Like,
oh, what happened?
Hella shade. You're being quiet, so I don't know how to
I missed it.
No, but yeah.
Oh, wow. I see it. Wow, Fiona. I seen it.
You seen it. You have to remember you guys are a little bit lagged, so when we sit here and just kind of twiddle our thumbs, we're waiting on to see what you guys are saying. It can take a second. Anything happens to stream, remember we're going to keep going until we notice that there's a problem. If Streamlabs doesn't tell me anything, I don't know. So you guys got to be my ears, I guess. But anyway.
Yeah.
No, I think the song's awesome. I had no expectation of it being Adam Calhoun at all. Of course, we all had our guesses.
I didn't have any guesses. I just saw that he said he had a video coming out, first one of the year. Then I think you told me he was collaborating with someone, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I kind of tried to stay away from it just because I thought it would be more interesting as a reaction the less I knew. So I just kind of stayed away.
That makes sense.
And I don't know anything about Adam Calhoun, so that was cool. That was cool in itself.
Well, ironically, I don't actually either. I don't know a lot about him. I think I might have heard in passing like one of his songs, but I never actually stopped and listened, which is, my bad, but it is what it is. So I don't know a lot of his other music. I don't know. I know what his content is a little bit. I know that he's far more vocal when it comes to some of the things that he said. For example, in this song, that was very expected as far as I was concerned for him to say the things that he said.
Yeah, I'm really like whenever I react to a Tom song, I just know that there's gonna be some crazy shit said, or controversial things. So like, it's hard to surprise me once I jump into it. It's because it's Tom. I mean, he just says all the shit nobody else will say. And
Right.
If he has someone else on there, then I'm expecting the same thing from them.
Right. I mean, I don't expect him to do a collab song where he's saying one thing and they're saying the complete opposite and they're like fighting necessarily.
Although that would be cool.
That would be
That
fire.
would be cool. LP and Killer Mike did that on Run the Jewels 3. They had a song like that where they were basically giving two different perspectives, which was really interesting, and it worked. I like that. It was kind of uniting in a way. You know, it was like, oh, these two people have a rap group and they have very different beliefs, it seems, and they were still able to hop on a track and make a good song.
Exactly, without being like nasty or disrespectful. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and they still did it with that like hip hop attitude where they were. It was like obviously like a heated kind of debate, but they're friends at the end of the day, and they just like dished it out to each other because they both know that they both have good points.
Exactly. Well, this one was, I'll be honest with you, when I first heard it, is par for the course, on brand with Tom. It is on brand with his message and the things that he says, the double standards, the hypocrisy, the controversy of what people are saying. But I feel like he doubled down on some of it versus just kind of mentioning it. He kind of leaned in on some of the things that he said before.
Yeah, I feel like he's never backpedaled at all.
Correct.
Like he says what he means. He figured out what he actually means, and he knows how to stay away from saying things that he doesn't, which is something a lot of people I don't think do. It's part of what he said, the whole mind stay closed but their mouths stay open. It's like if you have a closed mind, you're not even thinking about what you believe and your integrity, and you're just opening your mouth. I mean, you're just gonna hear what people have to say when you say something, and then you're gonna think, oh, I'm wrong. But it's like, what if you're not wrong, or vice versa? What if everyone agrees with you and you're wrong?
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, honestly, to kind of dive in on that actual line, if you think about it, the people that have their minds a little bit more open and are more open to hearing what people have to say, they tend to shut their mouths more. Not only because they have, this is my personal opinion, they have a little bit more respect for other people's opinions because they want to hear them. They understand how the impact of what they're saying affects other people. They care about the repercussions when it comes to, I don't know how to put this, comes to other people, how they're hearing it and how they're taking it and their perception, versus just being like, I want to say this, I'm just going to say it and screw you, I don't care. Like, they're not, their minds are open, their mouths are closed because they still have something to say, but maybe it's not the right moment. Maybe this is not the thing that needs to be said, or just because, my mother always calls it diarrhea of the mouth. It's not always necessary. Mm-hmm. Not everyone needs to hear every word that you have to say, and not everybody cares, even if you think it's super important. And context, respect, just is basic for having conversations about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and obviously hip hop isn't really the place to do it, but every time I've heard Tom talk about things like in a more like interview kind of setting or in his Discord, he's always been very, very respectful. He's always been, he seems sort of like in the middle of the road where he's just very open to hear anybody's opinion. He has his beliefs. He's never disrespectful. He just seems like a good dude. And I like how he just uses hip hop as his vice to get across what he's very passionate about and what he believes in. I think it's a good outlet because he can be that way in his song, but then he can turn around and be much more, what's the word? I guess respectful, like in just a normal conversation, and just listen to people and hear them out, even if he doesn't believe it. But if you were like to listen to just his rap, it'd sound like he was maybe shutting you down at points. But that's just hip hop. That's just the way it is. It's the attitude.
And that's the other thing, is that if you hear any of his songs, like from the two new albums, there's some songs that are very specifically telling people where they can stick it. Like, absolute, there's no way to misinterpret it. And the funny thing is I think that when he does that, it has to do with when people have opinions about him or at him. Him himself personally, his personal opinions, his personal words, his music, his art, all that stuff, versus telling people where to stick it because you don't like what they're saying. They're attacking him. Yeah. And that's, he not only does, he talks about like other people, other artists, and, even his fans, who just nothing's ever good enough. I mean, there's all these different aspects to these new albums, so he does say that. But in most of the ones he releases out on video and stuff, or that talk about this kind of topic, he doesn't do that. He brings up a subject, he gives his opinion on it or something to think about, and and honestly, he kind of leaves it hanging for you to start a conversation, continue a conversation with most of what he says.
Yeah, I think I noticed that a lot from fake woke on. Like, if you go back and listen to People So Stupid, he's calling out the hypocrisies, but there's a little bit of that disrespect in there, because I mean the song's called People So Stupid. But yeah, ever since like fake woke, what I've heard, it seems to be much more of what you're saying, where it's like he just lays out all the hypocrisies, and he's like, "You piece it together. Here's what I believe." You know, like even what is it? Brainwashed at the end, he really brings in his like 2 cents, or snowflakes. I meant snowflakes. Really, at that third verse, he brings in his 2 cents of everything. And everything else, he was just kind of laying out hypocrisies and facts, and yeah, I like that approach better because even in those final verses, he wraps it up by giving a uniting kind of message. And I think that's what we need. You know, it's easy to be a polarizing figure. I mean, we have a sea of polarizing figures.
Yeah.
But even with what he's doing and it being polarizing, at the end of the day, if you actually listen to him, he's trying to unite everyone.
No, that's what I think, honestly. I mean, there's a point where some of the songs I've had to listen to more than once, too, because the first run, I hear it how I hear it, or I just hear it as, like, I don't know how to put that. Like, I just hear it. And the second time, I really hear it. I could catch a lot of the lyrics, but I don't like, And the next time, not saying I don't like it, I'm just saying, I go to the second time and I'm like, okay, what's really going on here? And the more I hear it, I catch a little bit more. I start thinking about it a little bit more. The first run is never where I catch everything or get my thoughts about it, really. It's just whether it's cool, whether I like it, whether I like the flow, all of that stuff. Look, I used the word flow. But, and look, Aggie, I completely agree with you. I personally agree with you. I don't think that he is, and actually doing a song with Adam Calhoun, I think he's solidifying himself on, solidly on the right side, on the conservative side, a couple steps over the line, not just like, 1 foot here, 1 foot there, further away from the middle. But I agree with you. I actually think that what Tom says is more pointing things out about, like you said, societal problems, issues in society, the hypocrisy that is causing all of this distress. Now, whether for good, bad, or indifferent, he's obviously doubled down on some of his opinions on different subjects. It's very clear you can't speak about abortion in this way and not make your feelings known. You can't tell me that it's like in my personal opinion, I don't have that inside information. I believe that he is not for it. I don't know whether he's not for it in specific situations or across the board or hands down or anything. But it's a subject he's brought up multiple times. Same with, taking a knee, burning the flag, things about, racism and just all these other topics. Like I said, I feel like he's doubled down on here. Yeah. And so, like, if we look at, for example, we look at the lyrics. Country, he says, here's the problem with America, the country's broken. Well, yeah. We knew that.
Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah.
Because the minds stay closed, but the mouths stay open, which you already addressed that. Get attacked and we blame terrorists. Go broke, we blame the price. Blame racists for racism, but only if the skin's white. But the thing is like, if you get attacked, I think it's more than just that specific. If you get attacked, blame terrorists. If anything that happens, it's always a blame game. You blame somebody else. Oh, well, why didn't you pay your bills? Well, I don't get paid enough. It's my employer's fault. Like, it's that blame thing versus, but putting it into the words that he's put it in, it makes it impactful and it hits you like, terrorism, economy, like he brings it into that scope. But to me, it resonates on all these different levels. Like I said, you don't pay your bills. Well, I don't get paid enough. Well, you could get a second job. Well, yeah, I could, but I have my kids. Well, you could do, there's always an excuse. There's always a reason. It's somebody else's fault that all these things happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're getting to that point where, like, when it comes to the government, it definitely, there's just so many things you can blame on them.
Right.
So I get that whole thing that people say is like, the little guy can't get ahead. I mean, like, it's not a good philosophy to have in your life, but and especially since it's easy to justify, like we're all pretty much victims of something.
Right.
and that's never gonna change, no matter how good things get. And if things get really, really good, we'll probably get bored and just tear it all down, just because we want something interesting to happen. It's the way I see it. I mean, I remember there was a book. It was like an allegory about like there was a utopia, and I forget exactly. I don't exactly remember what it was about, but they basically just tore it down because it was too boring. There was no crime, there was nothing interesting going on, so these kids just blew it all up pretty much. And I mean, that's how it is.
No,
Just
it is.
the way people are.
I mean, I've heard it a million times that people say that struggle. I don't know how to say it. Struggle makes people work harder, and you work harder and you become more successful. You do better for your kids have a better life, but then your kids have too much, and then you end up spoiling them, and then the kids are bored, and then they want to start change, and then they cause problems, and then everything falls apart, and then you start at the beginning again. This is just a vicious cycle because
Yeah,
boredom.
the whole give your kids enough money to do something, not enough to do nothing. Oh, is Bailey there?
Yeah,
Think I
it just
hear.
disconnected and reconnected, so I'm giving it a second to pop back on. Yeah, she wants me to grade her drawing real quick.
Oh, okay.
Is it back?
I don't know. We got
Okay.
that big ass
Oh, it looks
lag.
like it is. I see the bars are down there at the bottom. It probably cut out for a second. It went ping and then it showed back up. So that was the first time it's ever done that. So yay.
Yeah, much better from the first one.
Oh my
That's
God,
for
that
sure.
was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
I,
still had fun.
I don't,
They just the people watching, they didn't. They were like, "What the hell's going on?"
okay, it's like, it's a, like that kind of thing.
Yep. That- But
Fiona, did you find the saying? Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. That is a better, more simplified version of what I said. But yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the quote I was thinking of. I just kind of, if you noticed, made it up because I couldn't remember it.
no, I've seen that. I've seen people make like memes out of that as well, and I've always reposted it. I 100% agree with that. It's just the way it is. That's why it's better to like people want to give their kids the world and all this, but honestly, better characters are created out of being deprived of things.
Right.
Because if you just get whatever you want, then you're basically King Joffrey in Game of Thrones. You're just
Yeah.
a little fucking prick. Oops, I'm swearing. I mean,
How dare you?
yeah. How dare you? We need a sound clip of that.
You just say it again. I'm pushing your button.
How dare you?
Okay. Now, of course, he always jumps into, and I don't want to address it yet. I'll address it a little bit later. But he says, blame racists for the racism, but only if his skin's white. One of my favorite lines. It took like 4 times of hearing the song to catch what he said. If we don't need guns because we can call the police, we don't need fire extinguishers, call firemen, please. So I get that now. It took me a minute to get that. Like a couple times. Like I heard what he said, but it didn't catch it. But it's funny.
Yeah.
Because people, they want so badly to like defund police. So you want to defund the police, the police aren't available, but you want to take away guns because you can call the police. But you don't want the police around because police are jerks, right? That's what people say. Why do I have this alarm that goes off randomly at 7 o'clock? I don't know. But no, you have all of this contradicting wishes. Like, okay, well, I'm on this campaign to get rid of the police. Well, I'm on this campaign to get rid of guns. Okay, so who's going to protect people when someone goes completely insane? I'm just curious. I'll wait.
Yeah, no, it's so weird. And I find it kind of funny too that was it? It seems like more like right-leaning people, they what's like they advocate for the police and everything, which is a good thing, obviously, but they also seem to be the most anti-government and almost anarchist kind of. I mean anarchy in the sense of like the without government. Like they're like even you hear out who do you call it? Adam Calhoun say like I believe politicians should be in jail or something in the second verse. What is it exactly? I don't want to butcher his line, but oh crap, I'm in verse 3. I believe politicians need to be locked up, which is very, very, anti-government. But it's just so weird that they're like, oh, fuck the politicians, but we need the what do you call it? I can't talk today. But we need the police,
Right. Well,
because it's like I think but the thing is, I think we all know that the police are better people than the politicians,
True.
and the problem really is with the training, not with who, not with like if things were to go south or the government said something, I believe that if the government tried to make the police arrest everyone for crazy shit, our police force would be like, no, we're not doing that. And they would stand with us, not against us.
I believe to a point. And also, just to go back for a second, if I'm not mistaken, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a huge, huge gap between federal government and city, state, like the smaller area. Like states are supposed to govern themselves with the federal government kind of over it. Federal government is not supposed to dictate what you do in each state. That is supposed to go to the state government. It's supposed to actually trickle down to the locality that you're in, and then it's supposed to expand. So if there's something, for example, the same way that people go to the Supreme Court, if you have an issue, right, that you can't resolve, you can eventually get it up to the Supreme Court because you can appeal it. So you go to this local and they don't give you the answer you want, or they don't treat you fairly, or whatever the case may be. You go to the next level, and then that's the way it's supposed to work, and expand, and you go to like the Supreme Court level, and they're supposed to be like, okay, well, we only see the extreme cases and we're supposed to be able to handle these. But when it comes to the day-to-day, when it comes to police work, when it comes to calling them and stuff like that, that is not a federal it's not supposed to be owned by the federal government. The federal government is not supposed to say, okay, this is how you treat everyone, this is what you do. And I think that's the differentiation, I think, between saying screw the government and saying, but we're pro-police. I think that's where people make that huge differentiation.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I do agree that training needs to be better. I mean, I just think that, on the other hand, I'm one of those weird people that thinks there's two sides to it. Training does need to be better. Okay, I couldn't do what they do. Don't get me wrong. But on the flip side, people need to act better. They need to treat people better. They need to be better people. They need to stop stealing, don't shoot people. And I get that there's one-offs and you can't make people not do stupid, crazy, insane, weird, criminal things. But when that happens, right, we shouldn't, like they say, put it on the news. Oh, we're going to burn everything down, and then we're going to be proud and stick it on the news like, look what we did. This is great. I don't care who it is that's doing it. It doesn't matter who's doing all of that, right? Whoever is, let's just say that the high school and all the kids in high school decide go out and burn something down, and then they put it on the news. They're like, yeah, we stand for, women's rights or something. Why are you proclaiming that they're good by doing criminal acts and then sitting there and complaining that the police aren't doing their job? Like, you can't have it both ways. It's that hypocrisy that makes it impossible. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that they're all doing what they're supposed to. That's not true. There takes one bad apple, right, to screw over an entire department where the trust is gone, it's broken, the respect is gone, it's broken. It's that. But people need to be better. Period. They need to act better and stop doing stupid crap.
I absolutely agree with that. But I will say, I do think as cops, they do have like authority. They should be the examples. They should be leading by examples. Like if we're believing that they're going to act in a certain way, they should be proving us wrong, as long as it's within reason.
Within reason, that's a very good way to put that. I was about to say that, and you said it. I was like, "Yep, that's."
Yeah, it's well. People. If a dude shows up with fucking 2 M16s in their hands and starts firing, you don't expect him to not shoot at him. But it's like, it's just a matter of within reason, and I think uh, I wish I had. If I knew I was going to talk about this, I would have thought about it a little bit more, just because I don't want to say something I don't mean. I haven't thought about this in a while.
That's fine. We can always circle back to it. Sorry, I just had to say that. I really wanted to say that. But no, it's
Well,
just
see, that's important. That's kind of what I was talking about in my reaction too. Is and what this song is about. Like, don't say something unless you're relatively sure about it. Like, don't open your mouth and say some shit if you're not sure. And
thank you for
I think
saying
more
that.
of us need to do that. I'd have to go grab some. Like, I have some reserves just because I'll say this. I don't want to get into examples or specifics, but I know people personally who've been brutalized by police in my state, so I have a little bit of a reserve there against. But I don't look at it as like all the police.
Right.
I look at it as one section. Like, I know which police from what town, which section, whatever. I know which force did that, and I hold them responsible for it. I don't hold all cops responsible of it. And that's part of the problem too, is conflating the issues, like you were saying, with federal government and state government. It's like you need to know who to point your finger at if you're going to point fingers.
No, exactly. And I'm glad you said what you did because I heard that in your reaction exactly. That's what I heard that made me go, ooh, 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 we've got to do this. Like I really wanted to because here's the reason. I'm not as much, I don't, you guys have all heard this. I say this a million times and it's actually true. I do not watch the news. I do not like read newspapers. I don't swipe over on my phone to the Google stories that keep telling me there's going to be like an 80th stimulus payment or something and want me to click on it. Like I don't do that. Any news I get generally comes from my friends and my family, which is my mom. So, or my daughter tells me something that happened or I happen to see something. So I don't scroll ever. All right. So if let's just say, for example, if I jump on Facebook, God forbid, right? And I see something in a story and I'm like, oh, I like this person. I'm gonna click on it. I listen to like 5 seconds and I go through them. I usually pay attention to people that are my friends. I don't scroll through my news feed. I check my notifications. And if something pops up on a corner or in the screen and I happen to see it and I'm like, oh, that's weird or that's interesting, I might click on it. I might go look at it. For the most part, I do not scroll on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on web pages. I don't go down into rabbit holes. I don't do it. So, that being said, I don't clarify a lot of stuff. I don't have a lot of research. What I have is, and where my opinions come from, a lot of my opinions are based on my personal beliefs versus, I'm not, like, for example, I wave to cops every time I see them, especially in the neighborhood or anywhere around. I just stick my hand in it like, hey, and they always wave back. 99, if they see it, they always wave back. It's not one of those, oh, I want to make sure they know who I am. So if something happens, they're more likely to help me. It's not about that. It's just, thanks for watching the traffic by my kid's school. Appreciate what you do. It's just a wave like, hey, it's an acknowledgement and that is what it is. I've had run-ins with the police. Now, don't get me wrong. In my past, they were justified. Not for me, but for, other situations. They were justified. I just got dragged in the middle and it was just miserable. But they never did anything to me that wasn't, in their perspective, warranted. So I don't have any history with that. So from my personal experience, from being on both sides of it, because at that time when I was married, I was on the side of, you see them like, uh-oh, everybody, there's a cop there, oh my God, like freaking out because it was a bad thing, right? And now I'm like, hey, because I can, hey, how's it going? So it's a whole different change of perspective. And that's where a lot of my opinions come from. Like my son, he does debate. He can't understand that. He says opinions his facts are fluid and opinions are fluid based on research. And I'm like, but if you only research from one section, right? If you only go to CNN for all of your information, or you only go to Fox News, how can you tell me that your opinion is fact in any way, shape, or form because you researched it, because you went to somewhere biased. Now, you prove to me it's not biased. Or give me hey, this is how I feel, this is what I think, and leave it at that. That's where you can be respectful, right?
Yeah, I also think if you believe that facts are fluid, you're not digging deep enough. You're on a more superficial level of things. Like I derive most of my what I believe are facts from like philosophy and psychology and things like that. Not based on what the news is today or something along those lines. And because I mean, if you don't find that solid, deep foundation, then I feel like you're just subject to get pulled in a million different directions. You need a bedrock, you know.
Right. Fiona just said it. She summed up kind of what I was saying. The wording should be my opinion, not that it's fact. I do that a lot. I say it constantly. You can rattle off like, oh, it was on, what is it? This album with this person for this thing. And I'm not good at that. Like, you hear me all say all the time, I don't know how to say this, but it's because it comes obviously from a place of feeling and my opinions versus a place of research and, something I can back up with, sources or whatever. Like, it's different to me. But that's what makes it kind of cool is I don't dispute what other people say unless it's complete and utter, like, I think it's completely off the rails. Like, for example, this is a good example, which they didn't address in the song. I'm just going off on a tangent. For example, I've worked in healthcare for 20-something years, okay? So I've worked in healthcare. I've worked specifically working with billing and insurance. Therefore, right, I have something to say when it comes to, I know what things cost because I know the actual cost versus what they charge versus how much premium. I know all that. So when you tell me that, oh, this is the insurance issue is this specifically, and you point to something and I say, no, that's not true. I'm actually coming from a place of experience and knowledge, not research. My research is my experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I mean, experience really does matter. It's
It
like
does.
it's like doctors who don't see patients telling doctors how to treat patients. It's like you can know all the science behind everything, but if you don't treat patients, then how do you know what works and what doesn't really? You'd have to do a study, and it'd take forever. Experience always trumps knowledge because things just don't work out perfectly like that.
Right.
They just don't.
No, I agree. And I'm actually going to address what Fiona's saying in the chat because I've been reading it, by the way. I am reading the chat the entire time.
Fine.
I'm just not stopping because, it's how I get. I can see what you're saying, Fiona, and you're correct. Like I said, it is for me, like me talking from me. What I'm saying is my opinion, and I'm making that very clear. It might be I call it a deep dive. It's because I just want to get down into some of these subjects and have a conversation about it. I'm not speaking along the lines of, well, in 1992, da-da-da-da-da. I'm also not going with, well, Freud said, because, Freud was creepy, but that's besides the point. All of my opinions come from a place of my own personal beliefs, morality, and experience, period. So if I do quote something like, okay, I did see this, I do know the guy from Fox News in the area, not like a bestie or anything, but like we've had conversations when certain stuff was going on and I can pinpoint it, or I've worked in here and I have the statistics, but I can't share them because of HIPAA. Like if that stuff happens, that's a little different. That's actual research. But in all honesty, I understand how that research and like philosophy and psychology and all of that comes into play. I am obsessed with sociology. That if I could do anything in my life, it would be to be a sociologist, but not in like the weird way they are now, but like the way they were like in 2000, right before the tipping point, and just to know why people do the things they do. It just fascinates me. Oh
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
Fiona, I know that you're not
I'm-
aiming in my direction. I know that you're not. I just wanted to address it only because you've been saying a lot and I've seen it all and it's all good points. And I appreciate you commenting because that's what it's all about. I mean, we want y'all's opinion. We want y'all's input. We want y'all's comments. You know, that's why we do
Yeah,
this
I think,
live.
I think that's why I'm interested. Like you're interested in sociology. I think that's why I'm just like very interested in psychology because, like, everything is downstream from that. You know, like how we act, how we interact with each other, sociology. It all does. It is downstream from just human psychology and how we work. And I mean, it's just interesting.
And see,
And I think people need to look more at people. I need to look more at that kind of stuff. Like that stuff should really be taught in school. Like, what does it mean to be a person? You know, because this is what you are for fucking what? What's the average lifespan now? Like 70, 75 for dudes, 77 for girls. It's like that's what you're gonna be for the next 70 plus years. So you might as well learn about it and learn what doesn't work for people on average and what does work for people on average, and learn a little something about it.
well, you
I mean,
think
there's
that,
so many people I've met who are like fucking over 50 years old and they don't know anything about themselves.
no, that's true, but you have to understand what you're asking for, what you're talking about right now is for self reflection. And people don't want to look at themselves because you go and you troll somebody in a comment and you be a complete jerk and you say all kinds of crap, right? You say all kinds of nasty, rude, weird things, or you see them in your comments. I haven't, thankfully, don't you dare, guys. I haven't seen them in mine yet. So the thing, but I've seen them, right? Right? But you go and you drop a comment like that, and you have to self-reflect and be like, "Wow, why did I need to take my time to sit there and tell them how horrible of a person they are?" Because I'm the one, and my favorite thing is like I'm the one person. If they see my comment, right? If they see my comment, they're gonna change their whole perspective. They're gonna do everything different. It's gonna matter. No, it's not really. They're just gonna be like, "Wow, you're a jerk," and they're gonna move on. Like honestly,
Yeah.
looking at yourself is not easy, and that's something that I've had to do really, really hard recently. The cool thing, like for example, like this song, is it's a little bit more broad scale. It's to start the conversations that eventually do trickle into the self reflection, the psychology, the why are we doing this? The whole point is why. Why is society doing this? Why is the government doing this? Why are we allowing this? Why is this okay? That's the whole, to me, that's the whole point of the conversation, is to bring up these things that maybe the first and the second and third one don't hit you, but that fourth one, oh well, so shit, oh my god, wow, okay, but why? Like that doesn't make sense. Like, see, I agree with that. It doesn't make sense. The conversation starts, self-reflection, you go back to figuring out why I think people are doing things. Maybe you do something to make yourself a little bit better. Not a lot, but you do something. Hey, you know what, maybe I don't need to cuss as much. Like maybe that's my thing, right? Which it is, by the way.
Don't worry. I'll every time you cuss, I'll take a sip of my beer.
Motherfucking piece of
Wait,
shit.
no, I
Bastard,
take that back.
son of a bitch.
Oh, I already drank it. I guess.
It's gone.
Get out of luck.
But
Oh man.
I'm gonna move on to the next one.
Yeah, I keep forgetting we're talking about the song.
I know. Well, that's the whole point. The
We
whole
keep-
point of doing
yeah, we
this was to
keep
get
branching
into
off.
that and then go branch off into whatever it takes us.
Yeah, well, it's a that I thought it was a good idea too, just because it's a very thought-provoking song, and a lot of hip hop songs aren't very thought-provoking. Like I'm sure like as I do more hip hop reaction and everything, people will notice that that I'll probably not say as much, or I can still like dive in and dissect other things, but
Right.
in terms of the substance being said of like important conversation, there's really not a lot in a lot of hip hop songs. A lot of that stuff is really underground stuff, you know, like yeah,
I could
can't-
see 10,
there's
15
nobody
years
on the
ago.
mainstream talking about shit like this in hip hop on the radio.
But like 10, 15 years ago, this would have been underground. But it's not. They've busted out. They're out there now. And and honestly, go figure, because of social media, because of everybody being confined, everybody being quarantined, all that stuff, we're not going to go into that because honestly, I just don't even, at this point, I just don't even. But because of all of the stuff that's happened, people are more honed in. They are paying attention. They can't just go to whatever concerts at their local place. Well, maybe now, but like for the last couple of years. So they start noticing things. They start sharing things. They're more active in supporting the people that they support, whether they be mainstream or not. So mainstream has actually lost a lot of its thunder.
Yeah, they just have so much money that they can speak over everyone.
But
You
here's
know?
what's funny. Here's this is the absolute truth. I do not hear mainstream songs. I don't listen to the radio, so I don't hear them there. I don't watch TV. Like I stream, so I watch like a show. I don't watch the
Yeah.
commercial, so I don't have it there. Where else am I going to hear it? If somebody
Well,
shares a
the
random
scary
song,
thing
I don't
is,
click it. Like,
the scary thing is, it seems that the people hearing it is the youth, and that's exactly what we wouldn't want. You know, like there's so many bad, stupid songs that kids are just eating up, and then they're just filled with these horrible, horrible, horrible thoughts that aren't good for them, not good for society, not good for anyone, and they run with it. And some of them grow out of it, thank God, but others don't. They keep it going. They just keep snowballing and snowballing, and then they end up unhappy, and all the people around them are unhappy, and it's a gross cycle to get caught up in. You know?
no, I absolutely do. I've got two. I've got, I three. I didn't mean that. I meant two at home, but my son's 18.
Yeah.
My daughter's 16 and a half. My other daughter's 8. So I've got the one that's 16 who's listening to whatever her friends are listening to, or she's, bumping in the car with her buddies. They're listening to whatever music is cool because that matters more than having substance. Not to everyone. That's a generality. But the thing is that and Fiona's right. You actually have to get them when they're younger. So the difference being is that this type of change, societal change that people think needs to happen on any level, starts with our kids. Period.
Yeah.
Across the board. Because, for example, this is a perfect example. My older two were raised with my ex-husband, and that whole situation that we went through. They have their quirks and issues and things. Okay, it didn't mess them up, but there are those things where, whether it be rebellion or, you know, tripling down into like disappearing into whatever it is that they want to do, like debate or something. There's different quirks that come out of that, and opinions and things. Now, for my youngest, doesn't have any memory of that whole situation at the time. None of it, right? Is just is smart, is doing well, is thriving, is friendly, is sweet, knows when to look. You give the mom look, and then they're like, nope. And she doesn't do anything. She quiets. Like the other ones don't, because there was just too much chaos. They didn't learn that when they needed to learn that. And that's the thing, is that people say all the time, we all need to change how we're treating each other. No, we need to change how we raise our children. We need to bring them in the home and our community and teach them how to be good people, and stop pretending like it's the school's job, because now the school's decided that they get to teach them all these things, and then all these things that we don't want them to be in the middle of, they're in the middle of. And it's like, well, whose fault is that? And there's the blame game again. Well, it's their fault for teaching them. Well, it's your fault for not telling them what's right and saying, look, learn your ABCs 1 2 3s, and then come home and I'll show you what the world's like. I'll show you how to treat people with respect. I'll treat you with respect so you understand what that means. And people just don't do it.
Yeah, and it's sad too, especially since there's so many other, with the internet and everything. There's so many easy ways to communicate with other parents, and like actually form groups, and then like get alliances and go down to the school and be like, look, we don't want this taught in our school. That's it. That's it. Done. You're not teaching it to our kids, or we're pulling our kids out. But nobody does it, and I don't know why. Yeah, I really don't know why. I don't have a good answer for that. Seems like, I mean, like there's no good reason not to. Like I get life is busy, but those are your kids. You gotta
Make time.
speak up for them, because I mean when you're that young, you can't speak up for yourself, really.
That's one of those things, if I don't, who will? Like, we say that about ourselves. Well, but I don't stick up for myself, who will? Who's going to stick up for your kids? Or the kids as a whole, right? So, like, the thing is that there's a lot of values. It all comes down, and I believe, my true belief, my personal opinion, is that everything that has gone wonky is all because of lack of morality, period. Because without a moral code, whether it be a lax moral code, a very strict moral code, it doesn't matter. Without the ostracizing somebody for going against the moral code, people basically do whatever they want. There's no consequences. You take away the morality, you take away consequences, and it's a free-for-all. And so then
Yeah.
people are used to consequence. They want to punish people who don't let them do what they want. So they come up with their own way of punishing people, and all of a sudden morality no longer matters. Your, values no longer matter. The only thing that matters is if someone's going to bully you enough to shut you up. Like, that's what it's come down to now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I've always I'm not a religious person, but I've always liked the idea of God, because God is the aspiration outside of you, and you have to please God. You're not just trying to please yourself, because if there is no God, whether that's just an idea in your head of what perfection is or what right is, then all you're going to do is appease to yourself. And whenever anyone just tries to do whatever they want, they're usually, they usually can't sleep at night, and they're like, what the hell's wrong with me? And they beat themselves up, and it's like, yeah, because you don't know what you want, really. Like, none of us do.
Right.
Like, we make bad decisions all the time. We react in ways we don't want to. We're just messes.
That's true. No, it's absolutely true. I mean, God, I was just scrolling through the lyrics. I'm like, there's a lot of lyrics here. You get to pick the next section of lyrics, because I already picked the last couple.
Oh wait, what? Wait, I'm sorry. I was.
You read through
trying to
lyrics and
read
you
the-
stop on something you want to talk about, and we'll talk about it. I just don't want to do it this time. It's your turn.
Oh, okay. Where are we at? Blame racists for racism. Oh, I know why. You want me to say the dirty stuff.
What, the races? Which the one that's no? Because there's the
Okay,
build a
we're not-
wall. That's where we were at. If you don't want to build a wall,
Okay, yeah. If you wait,
you didn't
where's
want to
the
build a wall.
one?
And now the border's weak. Your favorite actor has a gate that's like
Oh,
15
okay.
feet.
Yeah, you didn't want to build a wall, and now the border is weak. Your favorite actor has a gate that's like 15 feet. Racism is gay. If you're offended, that's retarded. Intolerance is great until you speak and you're a target. I mean, that one's pretty damn obvious.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy how this group of people who are talking about standing up against intolerance, it's crazy how intolerant they are as a whole. There's no room for. They're the closed-minded people whose mouths are open, that he said earlier. I mean, that's
Well, that's
basically
the
what it
thing.
boils down to.
You have to understand, though, that comes, and I could really, in my personal, the way I look at things, I could tie that right back into morality and consequence. So if you don't want to, let's say you're doing something that you're not supposed to. Let's use high school. Let's say you're in, and this is not an actual real life example, but kind of, sort of, not me, but if you're in class and you don't like your teacher, and you think your teacher doesn't know what they're doing, and you don't understand it, so that you think your teacher's a bad teacher, right? It's the teacher's fault, right? Of course. And because, as a child, right, under 18 is what I'm saying. Technically a child in this country is what I'm saying. Technically under your parents, whether you could be on your own at 16, 17. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? So while you're still under your parents' roof, you're a child, they're the parent, you're supposed to have that respect. It carries over into other aspects of your life, including school. As a child, and there's an adult there, right? You don't just sit there and be like, you don't know what you're doing, and it's your fault that I'm failing. Like, you didn't do what you said you would, and you're not a good teacher, blah, 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 blah. Like, you don't do that. Now, I say that with the upbringing of that's disrespectful. You don't do that. If there's an issue, you go to your parents, you see if you can try and fix it, you talk to the teacher, there's all these different things. You don't stand up in class and throw a tantrum. Now, you throw a tantrum, right? And it's a problem, and people are mad, and they're like, oh, you can't do that. If you don't want a consequence, right, you have to link it to something that people are going to say, no, you can't get mad at her for that, right? So you link it to, this is my right to speak. You have to listen. It's that whole, you have to listen. So to get rid of all the consequences and, the values, you have people that, the flip side of that is they're going to attack somebody else, because either you deflect the problem to someone else, or else you come up with a reason that what you're doing is okay. It's constant, because, for example, like they say, if you're offended, that's retarded, racism is gay. Somebody's going, oh my God, they said the word gay. They're going to be mad. But what they're saying is that that's used
I'm
in
sorry, I just like the way you said it.
But they're saying it in the way that we said it in the 90s. Oh my God, that's so retarded. Like, they're saying it that way. They're not saying you're a mentally handicapped, special needs person who is being picked on because of the way that you look. Like, that's not what we're saying. We're saying, for lack of a better way to put it, we're saying you're stupid or just dumb. Like, I'm not saying that everybody that has a retardation or a mental illness or a mental, what is the word, inefficiency, whatever, is a bad person. I'm just saying it's a word that's been used in that connotation for a very long time, right?
Yeah.
And I just think it's funny that they're saying, if you're offended, well, then here's another word that's going to piss you off. And you can tolerate everything, but then you say something and then suddenly you're a target because people don't want you. They're like, okay, well, we're against racism, right? But I'm racist towards you. So if you're against, and then you go into that conundrum and you say, well, if you're saying that everyone of this race is racist because they're this color, that's racist. They're like, oh, that's not possible, right? Suddenly, oh, get them. They're talking crap on us, get them. So like the base values are gone. They make up their own as they go in order to justify their actions. I'm saying I'm saying people that do that. And I'm not innocent. I'm sure that I have scrambled when I did something stupid, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I mean,
hey, Nick. Hey, Truth. Wow.
Hey, everyone's showing up. What up?
What's up? I can't do it. What's up? It
Where's
doesn't
that from? That's Scary Movie?
Yeah.
Is it Scary Movie? Holy crap, I can't believe I remembered that.
So much
I need
better
to get
than
that
mine.
mask. The fucking baked scream mask.
But you're
He
right.
was, like, fucking super high.
Fiona, children are now taught that they are equal to those in authority, which actually negates the power of authority, and you're absolutely correct. That's kind of where I was going. If you noticed, I lost my train of thought, and I just chewed down another track. But that's literally what it is. Like, there is people in a place of authority, and then there's people that, like, because of the way they were raised, their values, and what they've been taught at home, and how this is how you deal with people, and who you can tell off and who you can't. You don't talk like this to the cops. You don't talk like this to your teachers. You don't talk like this to adults, right? When you're a kid, for example. Once you take that away, it's a free-for-all because now everyone has to listen to what a 13-year-old has to say, right? With knowing that they don't have the experience.
Yeah.
And they grow up and then they just spray that everywhere, and they do that everywhere, and now they get to do it online with no consequence. Oh, you deleted my comment, now I get to rail on you for deleting my comment. Like, it's exponentially ridiculous.
Yeah, it's more of a bullying tactic. The whole, hey, mom, if you take away my PlayStation, I'm gonna call fucking DCF on you. It's like it's just a bullying thing. It's a way to exude power, and if you just let kids do that, you're raising a fucking tyrant.
That's actually funny because, by the way, that has been part of my personal experience. My ex-in-laws, that was their favorite go-to in this tiny little town they live in. They loved to call DCF on each other when they would tick each other off. My ex-mother-in-law actually sent somebody a roach in a package. Here, give her this. This is great, these clothes for the kids. And then she'd literally go catch roaches and stick them in there so they get in her house. It was ridiculous. But they also called DCF on each other constantly. And they would call the cops and say, oh, we need a welfare check because there's a kid in the house and they're doing drugs. Like, they would do stuff like that just to get at somebody because they were mad. And it's like, once you allow that to happen, there's the DCF is useless because now they're wasting their time going and checking on someone that doesn't need it when they could be helping somebody that might need it somewhere else. And it just...
Yeah, not only that, it clutters up things in the sense of now they have to come up with more, what's the word? More guidelines to go by and more things to verify. And they have to work harder every time anyone does anything because they're expecting you to just flat out lie. And
well, on the flip side of that, legitimately on the flip side of that specific statement, when they have all those guidelines in order to make sure that they're doing everything, because not only were they reported for not doing enough, they were reporting for doing too much. So they're basically covering their ass. That's what they're doing. Yeah, exactly. So when that happens, I will tell you for a fact from personal experience, there's people that did nothing wrong or are good parents that get swept up in that because of a stupid phone call of somebody being ridiculous because they were mad at you. And all of a sudden, now you have somebody up in your life and you're worried that the laundry didn't get put away fast enough, or you left the dishes because you were tired because you worked 2 jobs. Like, and they're focusing on that, and you're paranoid, and it makes you miserable, and you start to hate them. You start to hate that whole, the people that are originally got into their jobs to do good. And then you wonder why they get jaded, because now everybody hates them, right? Because either they're doing wrong and they're calling them out on it, or they're not doing wrong and they're getting crap for it when they don't deserve. And they all are angry at this person. And you wonder why they don't want to do it anymore. And they're just like, screw it, screw all y'all. you know? But from personal experience, I'm telling you, I know this for a fact. Like, there are people that I knew were doing crazy stuff. And I'd say, look, this is what's going on 2 doors over. And you're at my house? Like, are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Just because of an argument with an in-law that was crazy and high as a kite. Like, literally, that's what it was. So I feel bad because I hate the overregulation of it. They should make legitimate observations and choices and actually go with what they truly believe is going on versus check certain boxes. I sniffled while I was there. I must be on drugs. Not me, but like I'm making exaggeration.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I'm just clarifying, y'all. No, I'm kidding. I'm just saying. But anyway, that's the overregulation that people are so angry about. That's that over guidelines, overregulation that traps up. Well, and I actually had someone say this one time. I said, so wait a minute. Since someone has to, for example, someone has to go to jail for domestic violence no matter what happens. Somebody has to go to jail. That's the way that the place that it was worked. This is personal experience, y'all. It wasn't me. That was supposed to go to jail.
Me.
But I ended up going to jail because somebody else had their friends there and they were all drunk and they were like, oh, she did this. Oh, here, tell them they did this. I heard them say it. And then they pull me outside, throw me handcuffs. And I was like, what's going on? They said, well, someone has to go. I'm like, you're leaving my children with a bunch of drunk people. Like, that's what you're doing. And you're taking me away when they're the ones that did what was happening. They, put their hands on me or whatever. They're like, well, someone has to. And, we'd rather arrest 100 people that don't deserve it than miss the one that does. They said that to my face.
What the heck?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Got a mugshot, y'all. Not a kid. Not kidding. Did diversion for it because, it was either that or go through trial and go through all this stuff. And my ex was psycho, so I couldn't do that because it doesn't matter. Just sucked it up, going back to my kids, did what I needed to do, kept my head down, nose clean, all good, But that's what I'm saying, the over guidelines of trying to, we're just going to catch everybody, no matter what the case is, what's really going on, because we had that one complaint that one time that we missed something, right? And now everybody's going. And that's another issue when it comes to police, when it comes to, putting people in jail for no reason. Like, there's a bunch of different issues that stem from that. I'm done with my tangent,
well, we have
by
to
the way.
We have to start taking more responsibility as a community, and start looking out for each other. Like if you see the neighbor's kids alone or down the street riding a bike, don't call DCF on them. Just keep an eye on them. Like, make sure they're good. Make sure nothing happens to them. Just keep your eye on them. You look out for each other. Don't try to get everyone in trouble. Don't be this tattletale. Like, I think that's what it really boils down to, because the minute you call someone else to do something about it, you're handing off your responsibility. And the more responsibility you give to something like the government, the bigger they get, the more they're going to become a monster, and they're going to use it to exude their tyrannical desires on you. And I mean, that's the oldest story in the book. They always become tyrannical. Just always. Same thing with anything, any superpower, like even in capitalism, like any corporations don't last that long. Like, I think on average, 40 years, they don't last that long because they become so corrupt. And thank God, capitalism allows people to decide whether they should be in business or not, because that's why they go out of business a lot of the times. Now we've entered a different kind of realm with the internet age, because it seems like weirdly impossible to get rid of Facebook and everything, because they're so, I guess, monopolized. their Instagram, their Facebook, their a whole bunch of things. But you're starting to see people develop new technologies like Rumble, like what's the other one? Isn't like Telegraph one too?
But see, then you also get this other thing where people like to go on Rumble, they like to go on Telegraph, and I get that.
I'm not famous for
Telegram?
those
I think
like
it's
that.
Telegram.
I think they can be good. Yeah, I think it might be. Yeah,
But see,
I think
people
they can be good, but
they want
they still have
ease.
some.
They want the ease
want
of
what?
use. They want the ease of use. So you get onto somewhere like Rumble, okay? And I have not really gotten on there very often, so I don't understand how it works. The point being is that I don't get it, and so it's easier for me to jump onto YouTube if it's not there. See, remember, I'm the person that doesn't scroll. So if it's not there, okay, it's not there. And I move on. So I don't get on there for that reason because I don't want to try and figure it out. I want to sign up for something else. I'm already on these other platforms. If it's not there, oh well. I'm kind of that mindset, right? I want ease. Like I'm not going to lie. Y'all are going to think I'm crazy. Remember that CDs from AOL? The CDs for AOL. Oh my God. Yeah, you're too young. You baby. You're a baby. No, the CDs that came and you could get like 8,000 of them. It was great. And you had to sign up with like a new screen name every time. It was fun. And it was all inclusive. So you logged in and it was basically like an environment. Now we use that for stuff like work and stuff. But your email popped up right in your screen. Your chat was in there. All your instant messages, plus there's a browser. Everything was all inclusive like sandals. It was like going on a cruise, right? Everything was right there. I love that. I don't want to log into here for this and log into there for that and then share it over there and share it over there. I don't want to do that. So there's a reason that a lot of people don't go into some of these platforms. But a lot of people that are being censored are in a very specific niche of content, right? They tend to be right-leaning conservative that are talking against this, that, or the other. You can name them all. I'm not going to. Yeah. So the problem that happens is that you're now entering an echo chamber of like-minded people who all are angry that they're getting censored or cut off or not being allowed to say what they feel like they want to say. And now you're in that echo chamber. So you went from this other echo chamber that irritated you and you're sick of that and you found someone or content that is no longer an echo chamber where they get to they speak on things that you agree with. And then you enter another echo chamber. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's another reason to kind of stay off of a lot of those. Not because I don't appreciate the content. I just don't want to be in an echo chamber of any sort.
Yeah, me neither. There doesn't seem to be I think Jordan Peterson has like a thing where it's like you could sign up and their promise is basically we won't censor anything unless it's like brought to court and and we're told to take it down by court or something like that.
Yeah.
But you don't see a lot of places actually doing that because they're just trying to appease everyone. But it's like, dude, you can't do that. And once you go down that rabbit hole, you're just going to get lost. So you might as well just stand your ground and be like, look, this is a platform. We're not publishers. Whatever's posted within reason, like if someone's posting like a live murder, obviously you fucking go after them. But if it's within reason, you people can say whatever the hell they want. And and I think one place, maybe it was Rumble or something, they're working on like potentially doing like a jury system where it's up to the community. Like if you can report it and then they'll hit you up and be like they'll ask you questions about this post. Do you think it should be taken down? Do you think it breaks our guidelines? Yada, yada, yada. And then like a jury of selected random people get to choose whether it gets taken down or not. Right. And I think that's a way better way of doing it than just giving all the power to the company. And I mean, like, because we do have to accept that these social media platforms, it is a community. I mean, like my Facebook page is my page, but whenever I go outside of my page, I'm interacting with the world. I'm out in the world.
Right.
And I have to take responsibility for things I say.
How dare you?
So does everyone else. How dare you? We really need this soundbite.
I do. I need a soundboard. Like, buy Cat a soundboard. I'm kidding. No. I'm just saying. Like, I do.
either
If I had
way.
it, I need a desk and a setup and all that stuff too. I can't just sit here and stream off a freezer all the time. But um, no, I completely agree with you. I know what you're saying. It's just I have issues with some of those things, like, the jury system. All it takes is for people to say, hey, we don't want this content on here, so all of the people that are against that content go on there, just like they do on Reddit when they troll raid on Discord and stuff. Like, there's no way to completely stop people from not wanting the content, but on the other hand, a free for all ends up being like the dark net kind of stuff. So it's
Well,
kind
that's
of
again like taking responsibility, and what you say is like, being genuine, being honest, and making your word matter.
yes,
But it sucks. I mean, that's the sucky thing about the internet is the fact that you can be so what's the word? Uh, you can conceal your identity. Like,
yeah.
and when you don't have an identity and a reputation to protect, you can do whatever the hell you want, and you can just do that out of curiosity. You don't even have to mean what you're posting. You can just be like, what would happen if I posted this, and just see what happens. And
See,
that's a power I don't think anyone should have, because anybody who's wearing like a mask, I don't mean like a freaking Fauci mask. I mean like a a concealing your entire face mask. It's like anybody wearing that, you're always wary of those people because you don't know what they're going to do. I mean, why else conceal your identity unless you plan on doing something you are not proud of or that everyone's going to think is wrong and judge you for it? I mean, you we should all be out in the open,
no, and
and
see
that's
that
impossible on the internet.
there's a reason. There is a legitimate reason why I specifically use the same name across platforms. I use the same picture across platforms. Obviously, the picture that's on the screen right now versus the picture that's in the chat is a little bit different, but it is what it is, whatever. I use the same picture and name in Discord. I use it on Facebook. I use it on Instagram. I use as close as I can get because my intention is this is who I am, right? I don't necessarily want to dox myself. I don't necessarily want anyone showing up at my door. Good luck with that, by the way. Please feel free. There's an iron gate, and I live in Texas, so enough said.
Is it 15 feet? Buzzy.
No, it's not. It's like 8 feet, and there's a breezeway between my iron gate and my front door, and
Yao
you
Ming
can't
can get
even
over it.
get to my front door. My fence is 7 foot tall around my yard, and you can't get to any entrance to my house without either scaling a 7 foot fence, which, by the way, somebody has done in the past, or somehow getting into a 1.5 foot gap with spikes on the top over my iron gate. So, point being, right?
And landmines too.
Well,
like Jesus.
I really appreciate my my security. That's something I didn't have for a really long time. I never knew who was going to be at my house when I woke up or when I came home. Anybody could be there. I didn't know who they were. They were like just random, like I said, you know my story a lot more. You guys all kind of know my story. So you understand that there were a lot of factors in that where I couldn't trust people. I just didn't know. And so having the complete security of being able to protect my children without, if I hear glass break, I've got glass break alarms. Like I just do. I don't have landmines. I don't have I have a fake ring thing at my doorbell because I didn't want to renew my subscription to it. And it just drained my phone. So I don't use that. But apparently it deters people because they see it because it's really prominent and they don't come over, which is fine. If I don't know you're coming, you can stand outside and knock on the gate all you want. You can just hang out. It's cool. But my point is like, I forgot my point. Like literally just now forgot my point. I don't even know.
Well, I'm drinking, so good luck
Moving on.
getting it out of me.
I'll go on. And we've not even got through a quarter of the song, but I have some spots.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking that too. I was like, holy crap! We're like, what, halfway through the verse?
Well, I'll go ahead and I'll go on.
Where were we at? Where we were at? And
We were
speaking
at
of Target.
If a white man paints his face black, he's a racist piece of garbage. You put him in a dress, he's courageous and he's gorgeous. I get the concept. I don't really want to dive into that one. That one's kind of obvious. I'm not saying I don't think that in any way, shape, or form Tom is saying, oh well.
Although I'll say, if you're for canceling Always Sunny episodes because they paint themselves blackface, I probably won't like you.
Well, I also really, really, really liked old movies, you know, because they actually had talent back then. No offense, Nick, that's not what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm saying like back then, like they could sing, they could dance, they actually had to like have a personality to be in Hollywood. It wasn't like I look cute and I can be like all the time, and then suddenly I can turn around and be
Come
like,
sit on the couch with me.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't the same. It was different. But anyway, I'm just saying that's a very self-explanatory. You put him in a dress, he's courageous and he's gorgeous. That's another play on the line. Snowflakes made that very clear. Dummies made that very clear. Freedom's okay. All these double standards. See, there's the key right there. Double standards, man. I'm tired of the noise. Freedom's an illusion. They censor your voice. We all understand that. We've all talked about that on many different platforms. The one I want to get to is the next one, and you know this, because and it's not going to be for the reason you think. Call a dad a deadbeat for neglecting his boys, but mom kills a baby and you call it pro-choice. Okay, so that's the one I want to get into. Legit.
All right, go ahead.
Are you ready for this one?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, so
Yeah,
none of this has anything to do with agree or disagree. Okay, it just is. Call a dad a deadbeat for neglecting his boys. Guess what? You neglect your kids, you're a deadbeat. Done. One and done. But using that as the flip side of, but mom kills a baby and you call it pro-choice. Now that, of course, is obviously a reference to abortion. And I understand that he's trying to show the dynamic of, for example, a man walks out on his kids and he's a deadbeat, right? But then a woman technically walks out on her child because she eliminates that from her life, and you call it pro-choice. I understand the extremes that he's trying to portray there, but I'm just going to tell you right now, a lot of people, not a lot of people, some people, I've heard it kind of mentioned, but that first line is absolutely true. It's a fact. Like if they ignore them, then that's who they are. They're a deadbeat. And that doesn't take away from that by saying, you know, this other issue that is completely separate, but understandable why he's, kind of linking them together.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that doesn't take away from that. And I feel like that line specifically takes away from the first part of it. And that's a huge issue to me, like, as you know. But, you know, I don't care who you are, if you walk out on them, you're a jerk. You're an asshole. You are scum. That's it. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah. I think my thing is with both lines, like the dad and the mom in these situations, to me they both seem to be giving up on the potential of their kid. And I think they're just both wrong. Depending on the reason, like I think I've said it in other videos, like I think abortion is there's places for it.
Right.
None of them are good. It's never a good thing. But like if a girl is raped, like it's not the baby's fault, but like she didn't make a mistake. Someone forced himself on her, and it's like, and now she has to deal with not I say deal, but now she has to reap the consequences of a 19-year long commitment. It just doesn't seem right. So at that point, I'm just kind of like, well, she didn't have a choice. I feel like she should have a choice, even if it's later. But, and also, rape, rape, incest. Incest is another one. Even that one seems weird, though. I don't know.
Fiona, I see what you're saying. She's saying,
No,
I do not think he's saying that they're not deadbeats, but that men get a label, women do not. Labeling is the double standard, positive label versus negative label. I don't necessarily agree, and here's why. It depends on who you're asking. So, okay, so maybe that is, okay, I'm thinking about it. Can you tell I'm thinking? So maybe that is kind of the point, is that it is more mainstream to just go get an abortion. Oh, just take Plan B. And I think Just Jen is the one who did a reaction. You said, she's like, stop using it as birth control. Like, do something. You're going to get your brown cow. Yeah. Like, you're going to do that. Do what you need to do to protect yourself, right? And I know there are mistakes, there are issues, but it's gambling. That's what happens when you engage in that behavior, period. So the thing is that I personally think it's just as disgusting to see your children and to walk away and disappear from their lives and basically say, well, screw you, and never make contact and not bother and not even try to help or even be in their lives, which is a personal experience, okay? I think that is just but it's right up there with deciding that, well, I made a stupid mistake, so I'm not going to suffer for it. And you go when you do something dumb. To me, I'm very opinionated on this subject on both sides. I know that there are situations where that would be something that's under consideration. I would never judge someone in those situations, but I'll judge the shit out of someone who uses it as birth control. And I'll judge the shit out of somebody who sees their child and who's like, well, it's not worth it to be around you because I don't want to do what I've been told I have to do. So if you can't see your kid, I have a personal situation. You can't speak with your child because you have to get permission. You have to go through me. You can't get any information, or you have to call the sheriff's department. Those are the two ways you can do it. You're so salty that I walked out and took, and like walked out, like, I'm done, that you would rather never see a child in 4.5 years or have them even hear your voice or have a video call, nothing, than to suck it up and do what you have to do because they mean more than your pride. They mean more than your personal opinions. So I get I get the label as the double standard. I get that. But on the other hand, I think that the guys who walk out on their kids are absolutely deserve the label. And I think that the people that use, abortion or the pro-choice law as birth control deserve their labels too. And not in a positive way, but in a negative way. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean,
this is
like what we were talking about before too, like the whole taking responsibility for your choices, and your choice should be at having sex and how you go about it and how you protect yourself. And if you don't protect yourself, then you've made the choice. I mean, I don't know. It's easier for you to say stuff because you're a girl.
No, it's not.
Get freaking ostracized
because
for shit.
The entire point of this, to me, these two lines, I'm not saying men as victims type issue. I'm saying the labels, because having a male voice and a female voice matters. So you don't have children that have been walked out on by their father. Like, you don't have that. And I do. So you will never be on the same experience page as that because you've not gone through that, right? And that's neither here nor there. It doesn't matter. Your opinion does matter, though, and this is the forum for you to have it and to say things. And who gives it? Honestly, who gives a crap?
No. I mean, I if I have an opinion, I will say it. But, yeah, it's just I don't know. I feel like Dave Chappelle said it pretty damn good in his special, where he said something like, "Look, if you have the right to." Like, guys should shut up about this, blah, blah, blah. And he pointed that out. But then he was like, but if you have the right to kill the kid, I at least have the right to abandon the motherfucker.
No,
and then he was like, and if I'm wrong, maybe we're both wrong, It's like,
and it's a very iffy subject, and I think that kind of, when it comes to like the pro-choice thing, that is a very personal, and it's an opinion, because I'm very, 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 very stickler on that issue. It is what it is. Whether you like me, hate me, I don't care. It is. But when it comes to like, when they talk about a deadbeat dad, well, there are, by the way, I have been magically introduced to a shit ton of deadbeat moms, which, fun fact, until I got married and met all of the wonderful people that I got to meet through my marriage, that was a lot of fun. I didn't know there was such a thing, but apparently there is. And I met a lot of them that are just out there partying, doing their thing, while there's single dads out there, and respect to the single dads. Like, it's not just a guy or girl thing. The deadbeat thing can be either or. Obviously, the pro-choice thing is, my body, my choice. Well, your body, you chose to do this. And so the problem is that there's no consequence. And I'm not saying that a child is a consequence. They're a blessing. There's a million things you can do. But on the other hand, I had a conversation one time with my teenager, and I said, look, if that ever becomes an issue, you need to protect you. And she was talking about, she had heard, oh, there's this thing where guys can have birth control now. Okay, but she still protect you. She's like, well, why can't it be their responsibility? Because do you trust that every person you run into at any point in your college life and your adult life is going to do exactly what they say that they're going to do? Because number one, if you do believe that, then you're not ready. Period.
Yeah, no, I mean
Period.
that's what I did. Yeah, there's a naivety in that. That's pretty wild. When I was in high school and all that, it was like I never believed that. Oh, I'm on birth control. Be like, oh, well, this won't hurt anyways if I put this on. It's like do your part. Do what you have to do to protect yourself because people are going to act in their own interest a lot of the case. And if they want to have a kid or whatever, they don't care. They're willing to roll the dice. Don't feed into that. Like protect yourself.
Well, that's the thing, though. Isn't the whole point that if both people, let's say there is that option, I don't know, and I don't, like I said, I didn't research it, I don't know, if there is a male contraceptive or something, and they've taken it, and
Well, I
you've
know
taken it, then that's
I've
10 times more likely you're not going to have the outcome that we're talking about, right?
yeah. The only thing I would say about birth control is, I mean, what I'm seeing on the girl end, birth control seems to be pretty fucked up for most girls. It seems to interact with way too many systems in your body with hormones, the injections, some of the like the depot shot that'll really have you keep on weight, and it'll be very hard to get it off, which makes you just overall unhealthy. There's a lot of problems with birth control to where if a guy could get it, like for example, like a vasectomy, that's reversible, and it doesn't damage all these systems within your body. So it just makes more sense. It would make more sense. I mean, at this point in my life, I don't know if I could do that shit. That's like, I'm not trying to get my shit snipped, but like, if you'd kind of start introducing that at like a younger age, it just makes more sense because it's not because the guy wouldn't be putting something in their body that's fucking up all these things and them making them unhealthy. Or I mean, I've heard some horror stories about even like the implants in your arms for girls, like it coming dislodged and ending up in parts of their bodies, and them having to do multiple surgeries to get them removed.
Well, I've
Like
actually
horror stories.
I've actually known people that have removed random objects from people's butts. So, as much as I do understand
What does that mean?
that's a subject for another podcast.
Like a birth control kind of object? Or just
Birth control, birth making, anything. Like you name it, it's been up someone's ass or down their throat or in their ear. Like that just is what it is. It's creepy and gross.
hopefully not in that
I've
order.
actually known somebody who had a surgery, and when they went to change the dressing because they weren't obviously taking care of themselves, they were like 3 times my size, which that's like gargantuan. But that is what it is. It took 3 of us to lift her stomach up to change the dressing. We found a remote control and part of some food that had bugs in it. It was really gross. So there's a lot of things that can be a lot of places that they're not supposed to. But I know what you're saying, and you're absolutely correct. But I just think that it's every female's responsibility to take care of themselves and to make sure that they are protecting themselves in the way that they deem. If they don't, there's 2 options. You can either abstain or you can protect yourself in the best way possible. Find one that works for you. Don't rely on somebody else.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. It's about personal responsibility. And even if someone's telling you that they're doing something, you should still do what you can. Like even if like the guy was on birth control, or it sounds so weird to say, but if the guy was on some kind of male birth control and he was telling you that, I mean, tell him to put on a condom still. You know, like,
well, that's the thing.
like
You
just
double up,
play it
and why not
safe.
double up? If they say that I'm good, you don't have to worry about it. Double up yourself. Like, well, I'm good too. So we're both good. Like, there's double the protection. But I mean, I
Throw on
wasn't
a dental
necessarily trying to
dam.
get into contracept. I was more along the lines of, I get where that line's coming from. I get that it's the extremes. It is the labels that's a double standard, and I understand that the song's pointing out double standards. I just wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit because it's very personal for me and for my my
Yeah.
family and things like that. And I just I'm very, very opinionated on that. I don't usually go into it. You could probably guess where my opinion lands on there. Uh,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure I got an idea.
But
Um,
I choose to
I,
be that way. I'd rather you guys like, I'd rather be honest and say, like, this is my opinion. You can like it, you can hate it, just don't be disrespectful about it. Like, you can say whatever you want that disagrees with me in the comments. You can say it in the live chat. You can say it on voice chat when I'm in Discord. That's cool. Just don't be a dick
one
about it.
thing One thing I about that argument that I really don't like is that people who are pro-choice, they usually paint people who are pro-life in this way that's dishonest, and it's that it's my body, my choice. But what they don't maybe they don't understand, or maybe they just want to deliberately represent you. Um, it's that what's the word? That the baby in a pro-life person's eyes, the baby is its own body. It's not your body, so it's not your choice. You know, the baby's dependent on you, but technically, a kid's dependent on you until he's 18. You know, it's just this is now he's physically dependent on you to grow until he's born. And I just feel like whenever pro-choice people say they're like body my choice, it's a response to pro-life people, and it's a dishonest way to. There's a dishonest implication within that. I'm
Well,
pro-choice.
in all honesty, the government has kind of fucked that, hasn't it? I mean, screwed that over. Because they've officially decided that it is not your body, it is not your choice. They will tell you what you're going to do with it, or else they will find a way to take
Oh
away
yeah.
your
Well, that was
employment.
happening a while ago. That was happening a while ago, like in Connecticut. My friend, she was so like into this case. It's in my state, and I forget her name, but she was being held hostage basically by the hospital because she had like cancer, and like they wanted to move her out of the hospital, and they like wouldn't let her leave, and she was like held hostage, I think, for months. I wish I could remember her name, but it was a big case. Even Ben Shapiro talked about it, which I was really surprised. They're like, "Holy crap!" And then there was another instance in the UK where something happened to a kid. They wanted to get a second opinion somewhere else at another hospital, and they wanted to move him, but they wouldn't let him. And um, and they tried to move the kid and everything. They tried to move the kid and everything, and they just wouldn't let him do it. The police came, they got involved, they intervened, and it went on for I think like a week or two of what was going on. I wish I could remember what the issue was, but it went on for like a week or two, and the kid ended up dying. I think he was like an 8-year-old boy. I wonder if Mark is still here, because I know Mark's over in the UK, so maybe he would know a little bit more about it. But yeah, it was a pretty heart wrenching thing to watch while it was out ongoing, just because it was just a small kid, you know, and just fighting for his life. And I mean, nobody was helping him. You know, the family was trying everything it could, but it just didn't amount to anything. And I mean, that's why we all need to take on that personal responsibility. It's because if you just give it to someone else, or you start saying the government should have choice over your medical decisions, then they're going to make bad decisions for you like that. And
Hmm.
we need to we need to we just need to take on that responsibility, because uh, they don't give a shit about your kids. They don't give a shit about your kids. So the why give them the reins on decision making? They're just gonna ruin it. They're just gonna kill more people. I mean, they have no skin in the game.
True.
It's not their kids.
No, that's true. I care about my kids more than everybody else's kids. No offense. Just saying.
Oh, you should.
Yeah.
You
Well, that's my
fucking
job.
should.
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm here for. I'm here to take care of my children over everyone else's. And I'm not saying I'm going to throw your child into the street and to save mine. I'm going to save them both. But my kids take priority on everything that I do, period. Well, every decision I make is based on how I can better be there for my children, whether to show them you can achieve your dreams, to show them this is how you interact with people, to try to teach them respect, which I need to learn more of myself. But you just get to that point where you can't rely on anybody else to do it, because honestly, when you get anybody not directly involved with your children in a familial way, like, you know, mother, father, sister, brother, whatever, like their family, right? It's never about their best interest once it turns into societal interest. It's no longer them, it's the society, and then they're now just a number. They're just a tick. But by the way, I was reading through these lyrics. I didn't know they said screw a new world order. I thought they were saying who told you that you're so special through a new world order. That's what I thought they were saying this whole time. I didn't know they said screw a new world order.
Holy crap, I accidentally closed that window somehow. Hold on. I have it in the Discord. I'll bring it up. I didn't know they were saying that either. That's not
Oh, get
what I was
it. You
expecting.
loses your medal. Screw a new world order.
Hold on.
Medal,
Ah, right.
screw, bars. Let's go.
You act like you're so you act like you're so much better than us. Who told you that you're so special? Screw a new world order. All right. Kind of wish you would say fuck a new world order.
Yeah.
I get why he didn't for marketing reasons probably, but has more of a punch. But
Yeah. On to Adam Calhoun. Why they hate the flag. Try to burn it to the ground. Don't do that in front of me. I'm going to let off a round. Pow.
bang, bang. Pow,
And
pow.
I mean, I get that. Like that I believe is less of a literal interpretation, even though burning the flag is something that people are literally doing just to be whatever. I think that they don't do that in front of me. I'm gonna let off around pow is more of a, it's not a literal interpretation, but
Yeah, no, that pisses me off. Like, that's something I'll blatantly just be like, yo, that pisses me off because, like, I have a ton of gripes with this country, but I respect my country at the same time. And I think it could be better, and I'm on its side, and I want it to succeed. And when people do that, it's like, well, get the fuck out of here. If you don't believe in it and everything, like, what are you doing? Like, that pisses me off. Just because there's no respect, there's no gratefulness for where you live and all that. It's just people that burn the flag. It's just stupid.
well, here's the whole point, and this is my opinion. The whole point of the flag is a representation. Okay, so we get Hangover Gang decals, or we get Hangover Gang merch, right? It's a representation of a community and an artist that we rock with, right? You buy Elsewhere merch, you buy Skulls merch, you buy whatever. It's a support, and it's standing for something. Well, it's supposed to, especially when it comes to the flag. And the whole thing is like, here we go, back in the day, right? Why did they have flags? Why did everybody have a flag? So you could identify them, right? They were proud of who they were. They wanted you to know who they were. So when they came at you in battle, they had people in each section that were holding those flags, and those flags meant, hey, guys, don't kill me. I'm one of you. Like, that's why their armor looked different. That's why they had different specific helmets that had different specific things on them. It's a representation of people that are from the place that you are, the place that your home, right? And yeah, I understand it came from armies and stuff. It's, showing there's flags for people's heritage, there's flags for people's country, there's flags for people's, background, like in England they have what are they called? You know what I'm talking about? Coat of arms.
It's basically a declaration of tribalism.
Yeah, to a point. But
Basically
here's
what
the
it is.
thing, though, is that, people love to triple down on the whole fact that America is one of the, it's the best country in the world and it's great and all this. They love to use the freedoms that Americans have that other countries do not have. You can't spit on their flag. Are you kidding me? You can't disrespect the leader of the country. Are you kidding me? You can't say the shit that you say. Are you kidding me? You'd be dead. You'd be in prison.
You get stoned to death in public, as Tom said. And,
Exactly. And it's a true statement because
fake woke. Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a true statement. So the flag represents the country, and that's where you live. That is your home. And for thousands of years, okay, it matters where you come from. It matters where you are. It matters where your home is. It matters, the Confederate versus the South versus the North. They carried their flags too, right? The fact is that the moment you take away the meaning of the flags, right? It's just a flag. It doesn't matter. It means that I don't like what someone said one time. I hate it. Like, that's not what it is. The flag is a representation of our patriotism in our country. It's like if let's just say, for example, if the Russians were to invade, just I don't Russians stay out of the chat. But
Oh, you just activated them. I'm sure they'll be here.
but my point is, if the Russians were to invade, you would hope, right? I never doubted it before, but I doubt it now. Our country would rally. Look at 9/11. My God, like, sincerely, the country came together and was just like, you will not do this to us. You're not going to. We are, the United States of America will not tolerate this type of behavior. They were all gung ho and behind it. They were behind the people and the families to support them, to be there for them, the tragedy behind it, telling everyone what was happening, being involved, making a community. Everyone came together for a good long while, okay? But now, if that were to happen, do you think that same thing would happen? The flag meant everything at that time. Everyone was showing the flag. Everyone had flags outside their house when 9/11 happened. They really did. Like, so you tell me why all of a sudden that flag that unites us against a horrible, horrible tragedy, right, is no longer is worth burning. Like, if you'd have done that anywhere near 2001, when all that stuff, if you'd have done that any time near that time, they would have come to your house. They would have been protesting outside your house. Like, remember when people were protesting the military funerals? And it was all over the news, and all the news was like, how dare you do this? Now they're like, well, they're military. They don't deserve a good funeral because, the flag, let's burn it instead. Like, it blows my mind. It's a representation of all of our values. There's that word again, our values and our beliefs. Because as a country,
and I think it's more of an aspiration than what we are,
No, yeah.
And it's like,
especially
if you're not happy with what we are, the flag still represents what we can be, and
yes,
that's why I have a problem with the burning, because you're burning the idea of what we could be and what we aspire to be. It's like, and for what? To be worse? Is that your goal? To sabotage your own country? And there's nothing good about that for anyone. It's bad for everyone. It's bad. It's I'm gonna get mad.
Well, and here's the thing. It's kind of on the same, to me, it's kind of on the same, and y'all aren't gonna like this, by the way. It's on the same level, not the same level. To me, it's a little bit higher, but it's kind of on the same level as disrespecting the president. I don't care who the president is. Do I need to say that again? It's like disrespect. It's the same as disrespecting a totally different example. Disrespecting your parents. I don't care who your parents are. They're your parents. There's this level of respect that you earn as being the parent of someone, or being a family member, or being an adult versus a child, or whatever, right? There's a respect that comes there. Whether they deserve it or not, you still, as a person, you show respect because that's just what it is. I don't care who the president is. You don't like what they're doing, but you don't go up there and try and throw things at them. You don't sit there and like, oh, well, they're not. Well, they are. They are the president, whether you want them to or not. Trump, Biden, doesn't matter, right? They still are the president. It is what it is. You don't have to like it, but the level of respect is gone. And so how can that office ever demand respect again? And how can other people outside of this country respect the president and everything? The president's in charge, right? He's commander in chief. How can they ever respect that office and the United States if we can't even respect the person that is literally in charge of the country? Like, to me, it's just...
It seems like the DNC and the RNC, like, they basically choose the candidates now. So, like, we just basically have the choice of, 2 bowls of shit. And it's like, that's why I don't really respect the presidency anymore. I mean, dude, I mean, I agree with you to an extent. There should be respect, but it's just going down. It's kind of like the Nobel Peace Prize. Once they start wanting to give it to like Greta Thunberg,
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
okay, I don't really respect this award anymore. This is stupid. Um, and that's how it feels at this point. I mean, Biden literally like had like a 8-second fart like on camera. Like
See,
I
I don't
forget
watch
where he
the
was.
news. I missed that one apparently.
Oh yeah, he was just a long ass fart. Like it went on for fucking miles. And and it's like when that happens, it's like how can you sit there and be like, "Oh, this is a legit position of power." It's like not
Okay, I'm gonna
really,
Google
not
that
really.
now. I really want to Google that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My phone's Google just turned on. How can I help you? You can't. Just because I said the word Google doesn't mean you need to interrupt my privacy here. Excuse me. Okay, I turned it off. Sorry.
I'm sorry like I had that sort of respect for Obama still. Even though I disagreed with a lot of what he did and everything, I had that respect for him.
Yes,
And but
I
with
did too.
Biden, I just don't. And
Well,
I
that's the
don't think
thing.
it's attributable to how the media attacked Trump so much. It's more of just him. Like, I mean, Trump could not even be a thing, and you just look at him, and it's just like, dude, this guy's got dementia. He can't speak coherently. He's literally farting on stage. It's like this guy's not a president material. This guy belongs in like a nursing home. Like he's not well, and this is borderline elder abuse at this point. And but we're still gonna, but we're supposed to act like this is a good, like this is a respectable seat at this point. Well, when you fill it with enough idiots, people are just not going to respect it anymore. Just like if you keep with the Nobel Peace Prize, if you just keep getting people on there that didn't do shit, just as some kind of virtue signaling ploy, people aren't going to respect that anymore. And I mean, I'm hoping it turns around. If we have like a really good candidate next presidency and they win, that would be fantastic. It would be good to see it go back up. But as of right now, with who's the president, I don't really respect the seat all that much, the position of power, because it seems like a joke,
No, and it is a joke, and that's
and
the
it's sad. And I don't say that lightly, but it's sad.
no, it really is. And I think the flag is more of a symbol of the country and the values and the, community. I don't know how else to put that. The patriotism. Like if something were to happen and we were to attack our country, we'd all band together, and that's what it means. It means we believe in us, we believe in, and that also includes everybody that is kind of united under that flag. That's the whole point. Everyone's united under the flag. So when you burn it, you're literally saying screw everyone that is affiliated or associated with the flag. It seems
Yeah,
like.
and like everyone else's flags, the gay pride flag, like any like if you're a Mexican American or or anywhere else and you're carrying a flag, it's all of that is second to the American flag, because regardless of where you're from, if you live here, you're one of us now. And when you burn that, it's just like you're literally burning our social fabric and saying to hell with that. There's nothing that unites us. And that's very disconcerting to me. It's like we should be looking for strong bonds nowadays with how crazy shit is.
No, absolutely.
Going in about Obama. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, with most presidents, the ego is pretty high. It has to be, because who the fuck would want that job?
I
Like,
don't.
I would never want that job. Like, you kind of have to be self-important, you know? Like, you kind of have to be a little crazy. But yeah, Obama, he was just so good at like talking. That was his thing. He was such a great speaker, but I did not agree with much of his policy and all that. Um, yeah, but I mean, at least he revised the Patriot Act a little bit,
Yeah.
but not his own doing really on his own accord. Just more what would happen with Snowden. He was like, "Oh, I should do something about that."
Right.
But
The next sections make a system where 85% of black people fill the prison. Is it because they black or they made bad decisions? I ain't good at math, but it seems like division, or is it white privilege? I mean, that one could take an hour to go into, but I think it's more, I choose to look at it as more, is it because of their race? Is it because they've made bad decisions? Because there are people that are in prison because of bad decisions. I know a lot of them. It's division. It's people being pushed down because they can be, whether they allow themselves. I'm not going to say that anybody allows, actually, I lied. I am going to say that people do allow themselves to be victims. Some people look for victimhood in different places. I'm not saying that that is true about black people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he said it. Division, where it's just dividing people by bringing it up. Is it white privilege? I don't think it's white privilege. I don't think just because you're white, trust me, you've never been in the tiny little towns in the Florida Panhandle. It ain't white privilege, trust me. They're all up in there, and they all deserve to be there. But what is it? Lawyers? Is it the representation that you can have? Is it being able to afford one? Is it classism versus where you're located, whether it's in downtown or in a small town? I don't know. And that's something that, to be completely honest, I can't get into that one. I don't know enough about it in order to say anything. That makes sense.
Yeah, what I was saying in the reaction, I just think it is a lot about cycles, Like, I've seen that in my family so many times. People just get caught up in cycles, and they're pretty hard to get out of. I mean, you really have to be strong-minded. You really have to kind of break free from your family, which is never easy, especially if you feel like your family's all you've got.
Yep.
And to try and separate from them and get away. It's way easier said than done. So I have a lot of sympathy for people who are like that. Even growing up I kind of grew up in the school system anyways was pretty, it was rough at points. But people still had respect and everything. But you could see people get, there was just these echo chambers, and you don't want to, who the hell wants to stand up against, especially in school, where you're just trying to fit in or keep your head low and get through it. It's who really wants to stand up and do that?
Right.
And it kind of sucks because when you're young and you don't really have the wisdom to know that's the right thing to do, to stand up and say what you have to say, you're going to exercise that muscle of not doing that at a young age, and then it snowballs and becomes, and you're just making that side of you stronger, where you just cave into whatever everyone else is saying, and it's just hard to break free from that.
That's interesting because Fiona says a combination of all, I would imagine. I agree with that. I think we both agree with that. Savvy says it's all about class, and that's why they push race, because if the people finally woke up to it, they would lose their power, which is true. That's where all the...
Yeah, I think it is more of a class issue than anything, because, I mean, there's plenty of poor white people in the same type of predicaments, and probably a lot more. There's just a bigger percentage of black people because there's less black people in the country than there are white people. And that's why they always stand up, if you look at the percentages of black people and white people in prison and all that, it's so much higher in the black community because black community is a minority in this country compared to the white people who take up most of the population.
But
I haven't really looked at the stats in recent years of what the sort of what the percentages are or anything, but yeah, I'm assuming white people are still the majority in this country.
The next thing that he says is, I believe politicians need to be locked up, try to take away your freedoms. That's how you get shot up. I get what he's saying, but By the way, I actually want to clarify that. I believe that politicians don't necessarily need to be locked up, even though what they've done is heinous and disgusting. I believe they need to be freaking retired. Like, can we
Oh yeah,
please?
term limits.
Term limits.
Term limit.
Just
Yes.
saying.
Everyone can get behind that.
Yeah, everyone can,
Everyone
but no
can
one,
get behind
apparently no one does because we keep voting in the incumbents. Like, that doesn't make
You
sense
want
to
to know
me.
why? Because they're fucking stupid. Like, stop listening to the news, guys. Like, that's the issue right there. You fucking nailed it, Kat. That's the issue. If we could just get term limits in play and get rid of these career politicians who will just say whatever the hell that you want to hear to keep them in office, we'd be good. You know,
Well, I
It's
heard a
like
statistic
what
one.
Joe Rogan saying over and over again, like Hillary Clinton, like she didn't believe in gay marriage until this. She's a chameleon. She
Yeah.
just wants to hold a position of power, and she's willing to say whatever she can to get her that position of power. She doesn't believe a word she says. You know,
Well,
it's
no.
like we need to get rid of that. And
No,
that's
I
it.
completely agree. I completely agree. I think everybody can agree with that one. And I don't care who you are. Left, right, middle, side, up, down. It doesn't matter. Diagonal. We can all get behind that one. I mean, they're like,
Yeah.
they're like puffs of dust and old farts just like running through. They've been there since like 1972. And then somehow they're like, I'm woke. Like, really? Like, for real?
Yeah, no.
Because my grandma wasn't woke. I'll promise you that right now. But they say, got our back against the wall, just try to stop us. Let me try that again. Got our back against the wall, try to just stop us. More guns, more ammunition, please stock up. I get what he's saying. I don't necessarily think it's at that level at this point. However, I get the sentiment behind it. He's being like, protect yours, protect what you need to, because they're obviously not going to, and they're coming for us, is what he's saying. Elections get rigged. Okay. Elections get rigged, rights get infringed. Take the syringe, frighten your kids, show up right where you live, make me want to grab a rifle and just go. Okay. I get that sentiment because I don't know how many of you know, it doesn't matter. I don't care if you're vaccinated or not. I don't care. I know what is, wanted by what they say, what they quote, mainstream. Wow. Mainstream. I know what they want. I know what they're saying. I know how hateful and nasty they can get. I know how they're segregating people based on that. I think that's BS. I don't care if you are or if you're not. That is a personal choice. My body, my choice, remember? But coming at my kids, I dare you. I triple, quadruple dog dare you. Come at my kids with that. See what happens. Like, that's all I'm going to say about that. Like, come at my kids with that shit and see what happens. They're trying. They haven't been able to pass it because, people, like, they don't say much about themselves.
Yeah, I got turned down at Supreme Court, I believe, recently.
Yeah, it did. But that's the thing is that say
people
something
need
about
to
me,
stop.
anything you want. Say something about my kids. I dare you. Because you want me to go off my rocker? That's where it's going to happen. Like, don't come at my kids.
People
don't
just need to stop trying to control others. Like, stay out of it. It's not your place. Know your boundaries. It's not your place to tell other people how to protect their families. Just stop overstepping your boundaries. It's just not anyone's place. It's your family's place. That's it. End of story. Very simple. I mean, like, if this thing was deadly enough, people would get the vaccination. But it's just not. It's just not. Just look at the stats. It's not. But there are people more vulnerable to it, and they have every right and absolutely should consider getting it if they believe that's the right thing for them.
But it's the thing. The thing
don't
is
try to
that
force it on me. I'm fine.
I can't remember which one said it, and I feel like a jerk because I can't remember which one said it. But they said that people, they get them, like, there's flu ones all the time. It's not a big deal. Okay, but on the flip side of that, okay, if you decide you don't want to get the flu shot, well, all these people that decided that was the way they needed to protect themselves did. So why are you there? Why are you the problem? Because they're vaccinated. So why is it a problem? I don't understand.
Also, this was a emergency authorized vaccine that was made in record time without the safety and efficacy tests being completed, which means there's a bit of a guinea pig aspect to all of this, and you're trying to force it on people without knowing the consequences. It's not right. It's not fair. We've already discovered that there are things that can happen. There are side effects. There's myocarditis that people can get. There's blood clots that people can get with certain. I think it was the J&J. I forget. But it's like you don't have the right to force shit on people because you don't know. Everyone's different. There's no one size fits all kind of solution with these things, and it affects everyone differently.
True.
And it's just nobody's place to do that. Like my wife, she has like she's like kind of um she's had like blood clots in her legs before, and yet they're trying to like force her to get a vaccination for work. And it's like, you're really gonna recommend she get it? And not even recommend, just basically be like, get it or you don't have a job? It's like, you don't know how it's gonna affect her. You don't know anything about her health, but it's important she gets it. Like, come on, guys. Like, get the, like, ugh, it just pisses me off. You don't know anything about the individual's health, and so you should just butt out. Like, let it be between that person and their doctor and what they know about their health, and it's not your business. It's just not. But we keep finding reasons in the narrative on in the media to overstep those boundaries. They just keep finding ways to do it, and people buy into it, and they shouldn't. They really shouldn't, because it's not your place. It's not my place to tell anyone out there whether they should get the vaccination or not. And it's none of yours to tell me what to do.
No, I
It's just
completely
not.
agree. Because that's the thing,
You know?
though, is that it's if you allow people to control specific aspects of your rights or your choices, then how can you turn around and the next time they're like, well, okay, well now it's this. We want to have you do this instead. We're going to have you do this next thing. How can you say
Any
no?
freedom you give away, you never get that freedom back.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, we learned that with the Patriot Act. Like, they just try to get away with more. It's like you gave away your rights to privacy, and they just kept down the hush hush, and they took away way more than we even knew we were giving. And then when they got caught, that's when they gave it back. They had to get in trouble, which means they couldn't do the right thing on their own. And that's always the case with government. They try to take it as far as they possibly can. And that's why just don't do that. Take responsibility for your own stuff. Don't try to put it on other people. It's just not cool. We need to draw a line in the sand somewhere, or else it's just going to keep moving. That's the way I see it.
He says, and everybody blames white folks for every little bitty thing. We don't have no one to blame. We take responsibility. I agree and disagree with that. I believe that it has nothing, to me, I don't believe that it has anything to do with race, honestly. It's individuals need to take responsibility. It's not the white race as a whole, because the white race is included with however many different variations and combinations and stuff, So is every other race under the sun. So
yeah, I think who said it? Was it Savvy who said it was more about classism than race?
yes, and I completely agree that it's
I think
classism.
that's pretty much right. Yeah.
They tell you be a man, then call it toxic masculinity, and when you act too feminine, they call it white fragility. I think that's again another extreme. I absolutely agree that I'm sick of the toxic masculinity argument, because I like a guy that's going to be a guy and like do guy stuff, like grill and I don't know, watch football and like get stuff off the top shelf. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the way I see toxic masculinity is like if you look in your DMs. Like the way dudes are like hitting on girls and stuff like nowadays, like that's toxic to me.
No, I agree.
But that's not even just a masculine thing anymore. It's totally, you see girls doing that shit too.
Ew.
It's like, it's so funny how like feminists try to be men as a way to cancel out toxic masculinity. It's like no, you should I think feminists should really pay attention to the feminine traits they have that are unique from guys, and pursue those, because they're better. Like guys are, I think guys are way worse than girls. I think girls keep dudes in check a lot of the time. It's kind of like the Beauty and the Beast story, you know? Like the dude's literally a beast, and this girl kind of brings him down to reality and grounds him. And
Savvy, quit
I
trolling.
oh god,
You know that's
is
not
he
what I
talking
meant.
shit?
You know I was just coming up with stereotypes. And you know what? Guess what? There's a reason that there's stereotypes, and there's a reason that people profile people. That's why they have an entire unit according to criminal law. No, I'm kidding. No, they literally have units that profile people so that they can hone in on this type of person does this type of thing. It's just the way it is. There's a billion different variations of everybody, females, males, whatever. People that, I do the male and female role in my home because I'm the only one here. It's just is what it is. I don't have somebody that's going to do the male stuff. The male stuff is killing bugs, okay? Kill the bugs, grill a steak or something. Go to work, contribute to the house, build shit, fix a car, make sure my car's working okay, remind me to get an oil change. I don't care if you watch football, just don't make me do it. And, like it's just guy stuff, okay? Hang out with your buddies, but be a good person. It's not saying if you don't watch football that you're not a guy. And I know you know that, but I'm just saying. Profiling is very
everything
important.
you just described sounds totally like white privilege.
Really? So you're saying that people that aren't white can't do those things, or they don't do those things? Because does that mean if they don't, then they're not white? They're not whatever race that they are? I just think it's not a race thing. I think it's just being a person.
It's not. It's totally
It doesn't
not
need to be a
that.
race thing. Anyway.
It's just a desperate attempt to get people talking and to get people glued to the screens. That's what I think it is at the end of the day. Just views. The media's dying. They want the views.
I personally think the next bar is Filler Bar. I'm not gonna lie, and it doesn't take away from it.
I don't understand trans men with humility. I'm just trying to raise my kids with the best of my ability. If I disagree, you try to cancel, get rid of me. You cancer, you can't be the answer. You're killing me. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool little rhyme scheme, especially at the end. You cancer, you can't be the answer. You're killing me.
I love
like
that part. Yeah. I like the second two lines. The first one and the second one don't make sense together, but I get where he wanted to address something, and then he didn't really go into it, which is fine. I think that that line is standalone. I don't understand trans men with humility. In other words, I have humility while I'm saying this. I just don't understand them. That's how I feel. That seems to me like what he's saying, but then he puts in the I'm just trying to raise my kid. That doesn't have anything to do with the previous line. I don't think that the trans men comment has anything to do with raising his kid. I just think that it rhymed. I mean, that sounds mean, and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying I think that's what it is.
I understand what you mean. I think it was more just like, I think the second line shows humility as well. I don't think they really like make much sense together. I don't understand trans men. But the fact that he says humility and then he shows a little bit more humility in the second line, I think it makes sense in that regard. But no, I understand what you mean. I don't understand trans men does feel a little out of place with the rest of what he's saying. Right,
but I understand that line as a completely separate comment. I get that. Like, I don't understand a lot of things, and I have humility about that. I don't understand it. But here's the thing. Just because I don't understand it doesn't mean I hate it. And it doesn't mean that I don't agree with it. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. And it doesn't mean, by the way, a lot of my opinions are based on things that affect my life. Okay? So if I don't have anybody that is, trans or gay or I can't think of any other terms. Anyway, if I don't have that in my life, it doesn't necessarily affect me. Okay? So it's not something I might have.
Why else would you think of it?
Well, exactly. Like, I don't feel like I have to be an ally for something that I know nothing about and does not affect me. I think that I have enough on my plate as a person and as an adult and having my own opinions that do affect me or have been in part of my experience. That I don't need to necessarily double down on trans rights, for example. I don't need to. I don't need to do that. It has nothing to do with me. So you do you and I do me, and that's cool. But the fact that if I don't support it, I'm therefore a horrible person, That's not okay to me. That's not all right. Because I completely believe that Hangover Gang, woohoo. You don't like Hangover Gang? Fine. That's you. I do me. You do you. It's cool, right? But
Yep.
if you don't support Hangover Gang, then that now you're a bad person. That's not how that works. It's
I love
just
your Karen voice.
my mother, by the way,
Bad
thought
person.
she's like, Karen is such a bad word. It's what people use to talk about white people. I'm like, Mom, that's not what it is. Karen is Karen. Karen is like an actual thing. It's not like a diss. It's not like a term like cracker or something. That's not what it is. So I had to explain that, which, it's really funny when you try to explain a Karen, when you realize you don't know how to explain a Karen, except it's a Karen. Like, that's what it is. I feel bad. My aunt is a Karen, by the way. She's like, she is Karen. That's her name.
I think we all know a Karen.
Yeah.
By name or or by the word. But yeah,
the phrase, if I disagree, you try to cancel, get rid of me, you're cancer, you can't be the answer, you're killing me, which is true, because cancer is never the answer to any of your problems. Cancer is the problem. So it can't be the answer if it is the problem, right?
that's the funny thing too is Adam Calhoun sounds a lot like LP to me, and that totally sounded like an LP line when he said that. It just like the rhyme scheme and everything. It was very reminiscent of that. And no, I really like that scheme. It is a filler bar. I mean, like those 2 or 4 bars, however you see it, they are kind of filler, but they just flow really well. And I think they don't halt the momentum of the song in any kind of way.
Actually,
I think they keep it going good.
the trans men, that line, because of that phrase, kind of makes you go skirt to me. That's what it did to me. But if I disagree, you try to cancel, get rid of me, you cancer, you can't be the answer, you're killing me, like that. That I was like, yeah, let's go. So it kind of made the other ones disappear into the distance. I didn't double down. I was like, huh, okay, cool, let's go.
Yeah, I kind of had the opposite, where it was like I heard the whole thing, and then when I like saw it again, I was like, oh yeah, it's a little out of context there. But yeah, no. What's the next part? The system. Wait, okay, yeah. The next part's Tom. I wish they differentiated.
Yes.
What is it? Yeah, the system's killing everyone. It sucks, but it's true.
Nope, you missed
Wait,
one.
no, okay, okay, yeah. And I hate white supremacy just as much as you, but I ain't feeling guilty for something I didn't do.
White boy.
Well, I mean,
don't say that. White boy. Oh, sorry. What?
no, that was yeah. I mean, obviously, nobody should feel guilty for something they didn't do. That's
and I
that's
heard somebody
shit
talking about, and I think it was We Scheme. I'm not 100% sure, but they were talking about if your grandparents burned down somebody's house, okay, and they were your grandparents or your great grandparents or whoever, okay, and then however long later, someone came to you, was like, my family's house was burnt down by your family's house back in this time. And then people respond with, and figure out how to build a house. Like, at this point, like, why haven't you figured that out yet? Like, why is that my fault for my great-great-grandparents? They burned down your family's house, and now you're coming to me generations later and telling me that I have to repair the house or pay you for the money that the house was worth back then. Like, or not back then, but with interest. Like, he made this whole thing about it, and I don't really I personally don't have much to say on that, except for, like, he was also saying,
doesn't make sense.
Well, he's also saying,
I mean, like, do you think they should get arrested for that? Like, if they can't afford to buy the house, like, there's no logic behind it.
But that's the thing, is he also said that some people, for example, my great grandmother came to the United States in the early 1900s from Italy, so my family wasn't here when things were going on that people are wanting payment for, but because of my color of my race, and I'm white, I have to pay for that, even though it has nothing to do with me. That's kind of the whole hypocrisy of that, is it's like you're not actually going after and like tracing, everybody's, origins and their genealogy and all this stuff. It's ludicrous. The whole thing's ludicrous. It's like, well, would you like some help getting to college and like learning how to build your own house and making a good career and making a good life. Oh, wait, that's what my taxes pay for. Cool. We're good. Like, I don't know what else to
In which
say.
we pay already too many taxes and not enough's getting done with it. You want us to pay more? It's like, no, no, fuck that shit.
And it's not personal. It's like not against anybody specifically. It's just a general, like, just like it's not me specifically that did anything to anybody or my family. It's just because of who I am, I have to now do this, that, or the other. No, that's not how that works. And you can say, you could try, but I'm not going to go with that. Like, no thanks. I already pay enough towards, benefits that I can't qualify for because I make $35 a month too much. So, screw you. Go do what I do. Go get a job and pay for your family.
If someone came up to me and was like, my grandfather, like, and told me that my grandfather like burned down their house or something, I would feel bad that happened.
Oh, fun fact.
But I'm not going to internalize any kind of
But
guilt.
my kid does
I didn't do nothing.
My kid does it, I will, because guess what? I'm responsible for my children. I'm not responsible for my parents. And I'm like in that way. My kid goes and vandalizes a store. I pay the price and they get the punishment. That's how that works. But remember,
but you're not
values and
dependent.
morality, that's not how it works anymore. It's whoever you can get the biggest buck from. That's kind of how it goes.
Yeah. Your dead grandma is not your dependent.
Exactly.
It's like it's just not the way it is. She was responsible for herself for a long time, so it doesn't fall on you. And anyone that would make that there's just no argument there. It's just a bad argument.
It really is. And it's like, you want me to prove to you that I wasn't here? Oh, wait, I'm only 38 years old. I wasn't here. Just, there you go.
Here's my birth certificate. There it is.
Oh, well, they
Discussion
can't
over.
require that of me anymore, remember? You can't
Wait,
require me to prove my age. I could say I'm 5 and you have nothing to say about it. I identify as a 5-year-old. You can't say anything. What are you going to do?
What's my age again? What's my age again?
Take away my right to identify as whoever and however I please? Come on now. It's a hypocrisy. Again, all of this is hypocrisy. It's double standards. It's ridiculousness. And it's just, this song points out a lot of them. Some of it in ways that I don't agree with, some of it in ways that I do. But the fact is, it starts a conversation. That's what this is. So, hey, I'm here for it.
I really love that about you, is that you can listen to the song, love the song, and not fully agree with the song. I think that's a trait a lot of people could adopt, and it would just make everything a lot better. I'm the same thing. Like I don't agree with everything. Like I said, like even in the video, I mean, I know that Calhoun wasn't saying that every black person in prison it's a result of them making bad decisions, but I don't really agree with that notion at the same time. And it's like at the same time, I don't dislike the song any less because of that. I see what he's trying to do. I agree with it. I enjoy the song, and that's cool. There's plenty of songs I listen to where I don't agree with shit in it. I mean, probably a good chunk.
Yeah.
But it's like people just need to be more open-minded.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And people need to be responsible or take responsibility for themselves. That's what it comes down to. They need to have to understand what they believe is their own values and what they believe is right and wrong and the reason behind it. Whether it's just a feeling, a gut feeling, something that they just think it's wrong, to the best of their ability. Do the best you can as a person. And doing the best you can as a person doesn't require you to step on or crap on other people. That's not necessary. And that's how I feel. Like, I don't have to, oh my God, I don't agree with the song. I'm going to talk shit on it because I don't like it. There's something that they said and I don't like it. I don't have to be that way. I can listen to something and it could be good, bad, or indifferent, but doesn't mean I have to crap on it. Now, 645 AR, sorry, bro, you suck. Okay? Mosquito rap, don't want to hear it. But aside from that, I can listen to things. People send me stuff all the time that's either just, wow, not up to par, not good, doesn't sound good in my ears, I don't think it's going to do well. I can still listen objectively without having to force my thoughts and opinions on their process. You're an artist, you understand that. I don't have to like everything that you do. everything that you come out with, or I think you should have done something different. You don't pull my chain, I don't need to have any input in it. You know what I'm saying? I can still tell
Well,
you
like
in
I
the
said too, fuck, where was I going with that?
I'll wait because it's awkward and it's funny. Let's go.
Hmm. 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 See, this is why I don't drink before I do this. I got comfortable.
Fiona doesn't agree with guns. Hey, that's cool. Guess what? Here's a fun fact. I live in Texas. I talk about how I'm in Texas. Come on. I don't own guns, but here's a fun fact. I will. Nick has promised me he's going to teach me how to shoot, and I've got like 17 guns that my stepfather, who passed away, he owned, and I could probably get my hands on all of them, and then I will have one. But I'm not going to do it until I can do it responsibly. But I'm also on loan with my kids in the United States where people are ridiculous, and you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, if your grandfather used that gun to shoot someone from 80 years ago's house down or something, and they get your fingerprints on it, then they might make you pay for the damages.
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I've spent
Like, I
enough.
could totally see that being a thing at some point. Like, the shit on the news sometimes is so absurd. It's
Oh.
like, is anyone thinking?
Well, and there you go with the next lines. But I ain't feeling guilty for something I didn't do. The system's killing everyone. It sucks, but it's true. They kill you, then they broadcast it, call it the news, or they'll brainwash you through social media feeds. Wait, did that go right?
No, the system's killing everyone. It sucks, but it's true. They kill you, then they broadcast it and call it the news.
Okay, I was like, wait, I had an extra
Yeah,
line in there.
you jumped into Calhoun's shit.
I'm
But see,
sorry.
that's why it sucks. I wish they divided Tom and Adam's Calhoun's parts in the lyrics, but they just have it all as one thing, and that's why we keep messing up. But
Well, there's
yeah,
the word
no, I
news,
mean,
which is where my segue was right there. But uber fail, like a serious epic fail right there with
you're
extra
good.
lines. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense.
Well,
Or
that
they'll
just kinda
brainwash
makes
you
me
through
think of,
social
like,
media feeds. If you disagree, they'll eat you immediately. Make America China pretty easy to see. I will always remember the land of the free. Adam again.
the "Make America China" line. I see that. I can see some of that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's been a thing for a very, very long time. I mean, China has a huge impact on everything that we do. And anybody that doesn't know that or agree with that is delusional. They're huge.
That's why I agreed with Trump, like, having this philosophy of we should make more of our stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we shouldn't just buy from everywhere. I did disagree with him a little bit on, like, it seemed like he didn't want to do much trade with anyone at all. I don't think that's the right way to go about it. I think there's a nice balance that we could have where we're benefiting, countries that we're allies with. I think it's probably important to have some skin in the game with some of these countries so they don't bomb us. But
China America. Fiona. China America.
America,
China America.
China America.
That's perfect.
All right, remix time.
But in all honesty, that's the song. I know that we've gone all over the place with it, which is fine. That was the entire point of this. But it's hard to go into some of these. I can see them setting up an album or different songs or more like deep dives into things because, in all honesty, each section that we went off on tangents on can be its own podcast, can be its own content, because these subjects are very deep and they're very opinionated and they're very touchy with a lot of people. But that's the point. If you start a conversation about one of these subjects with somebody that maybe you don't agree with, and you still come out of it with respect without having to crap on them in the process, you've actually done a billion times better than most people out there, in all honesty. I mean, Skulls, I know you and I don't agree with everything. I know we don't. I know there are things that you think that I don't agree with, and there's things that I think that you don't agree with. And, you could see me as extreme, or I could see you as extreme, but the fact is that it's just a conversation. It's just bringing up content and points and just talking about them, giving your perspective, telling people, hey, look, I want you to, comment what you think. What do you think about this? Is there anything that struck a chord with you? Is there anything you heard that made sense to you or didn't make sense? Or is there something that you want to go in a rant about? Do it. Join the Discord. Show up. Make a conversation. I love my threads, by the way. Yeah, Adam does really like guns. He does. He brings them up consistently, and that has been like a theme. And I get that. Like, do you? We know other people that bring up guns and are, totally down with that. I've never shot a gun in my life. And I hope never to, but I also hope that I will have the opportunity to do it if I had to protect my family. Oh, yeah. Savvy agrees with everything that everyone says. So he has gone from troll to echo chamber. Let's go.
Yeah.
We have our own echo chamber, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think these conversations are really cool to have. And I'm grateful that I met so many people through here and elsewhere that are willing to just listen and not jump down each other's throats and offer something too in the conversation, not just throw out nonsense, but actually be thoughtful and give a response that has merit to it rather than just to try and get a reaction out of someone or some bullshit like that. Because, I mean, that's basically the internet in a nutshell. Just get fucking attention. The whole, what was that? The We Are Chat.
By the way,
what?
I just had a notification. Mises just did a New World Order remix. It just popped up.
Jesus.
Like, not even a joke. I'm opening it. You're probably going to hear it. Hold on. Oh, that's an ad.
Like 10 hours.
Well, I don't know.
Jesus.
Hold on.
I mean, Mises.
Do y'all want to hear it? Like, seriously? I don't know if you can hear it. I don't think you can hear it.
I don't think I'll be able to hear it. Let me see.
Hey, listen. The world been out of order, ain't nothing about it new. People glued to the news, but ain't nothing about the truth. That's why I never ever watch it, and neither should you. These news feeds feed you the flu, keeping you spooked. Here's a thought, thinking's free, try it sometime. Cause you out your mind if you thinking these riots and crime.
Okay, so that looks fire. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't... Whew. Okay.
Is it just audio? Yeah, it looks like it's just audio.
Yeah, it's just audio. I mean, I started it and then I stopped it because...
Holy fuck, it's 3 minutes. I thought it was gonna be like, like a verse.
No, it's a full song apparently. And he already said, don't watch the news. Guess what? Bet. Got you on that one.
There's that nonsense here too, that Wikipedia New World Order bullshit. Unbelievable, dude.
Well, do y'all want to hear it? Because we can hear it if you want to. I mean, I'll have to listen to it, though. I'll have to actually concentrate on it.
Echo.
You think he's trashing on Tom?
I don't know.
Now I'm intrigued.
What the comments say.
Let's go.
That would be a weird song, though, to trash him on. It's not like the song's just like a beat. It's like it has that connotation of having something important to say behind it. Like, I feel like that would be a weird one to jump on and diss someone to. I think it's I don't know his beliefs, Mises, but I feel like it's probably him piggybacking the idea.
I can tell you, I do know a little bit about it. I've been in a couple of his lives. What I do know about him is that he does a live almost every single day for Bible verses or getting into, it's going to be totally wrong. But
I have to subscribe to him. I mean, I hear his name out a lot, and I'm surprised he only has like 163,000 subscribers.
His music is not bad. I like his music. I loved his one that was called Black or White, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I probably got that wrong. but I like him, but I couldn't sit through his live just because I had other stuff to do. It wasn't anything about him. I don't usually, and here's the thing, remember guys, I don't scroll. So I don't usually look through the comments. So when I'm, let's say, looking at Tom's video, I'm not scrolling through the comments. Ironically, the comment I caught, I think I was the third person to catch it, was Blair White, and I had no idea who that was at the time. And I caught that comment and I was like, oh, is that you in the video? That's awesome. Like, let's go. Like, that's cool. And it ended up, I found out after the fact, of course, who Blair White was. And then I love her content completely. She's awesome. And I love what she's doing and I love what she's putting out there. But, oh, okay.
Perhaps.
See, I thought it, okay, see, honestly, I thought it was Burden versus, Burden and Topher versus Tom, because Topher's the one that went, like, wild out with his stupidity. And, you know, I don't care what anybody thinks, you know, Topher, what he did was kind of bullshit. It's just a conversation. No, it's not. No, it's not. And stop trying to, and anybody that lies about that, like, don't lie. Just be like, you know what, I'm dropping a diss track on your ass. What's going to happen? And you know what Tom did? No response. Nothing.
Yeah.
The best response.
I don't know what happened at all, so.
Is no response. Okay, so for God, this is such a thing. So
Blair is
Loza.
Awesome. I love Blair White.
Loza. By the way, if y'all are Loza fans, anybody that might listen to this in the future, I am not a Loza fan. He did a song called Dear Tom, where he basically was like, Dear Tom, this, oh, you're so wonderful. Hey, I wish I had a girl like Nova. I wish I had a girl like Nova. Hey, let's collab. This would be great. He got on the clout train, and he finally got his clout with the Let's Go Brandon, which was like empty and stupid, and I actually got stuck listening to it by accident. But then he came out with some diss for Lil Nas X, and it was disgusting. It was vile. What he said they should do to that man was, I don't care if you don't like somebody, how dare you go out there and say these disgusting things as something that you should do to another human being. And if you say those things, oh, guess what? I now could care less about you, and I will never listen to his content again. So he was going to come out with a Dear Tom, which was the whole, I'm giving Tom his flowers, right? Because that's what Tom did for Eminem. And he was trying to, like I said, he's a clout chaser. He gets on any kind of clout he can. And then at the same time, I was in the live with Loza when Topher was involved. And Topher was coming out with a Dear Tom or Dear Tom song at the same time. His was a conversation, right? It's a conversation. And Loza was all like there was all this drama and stupidity. It was ridiculous. And he was calling him, and they were on the phone together. It was just made no sense. So when Tom came out with America, Topher, he posted some stupid crap, like on Instagram and stuff. He did, wait, what now? Okay, wait a minute. I have to read chat.
Oh, you're in the chat?
I'm watching the chat. Fiona says, I think it was that Mises had agreed with what Topher said about Tom when he dropped America, which is the one I was just talking about, where he talked hella shit and he was starting some stuff on Instagram and everything. I was there all up on that one. But taken with the caveat that I might be mistaken. Burden was bummed because he loved Tom. Which, well, Burden's the one, isn't Burden the one who did, you know, F Biden or whatever, which I thought was a vile song too. Like, do you really need to go there? Is that necessary? Like, honestly, and it doesn't matter.
Honestly, it's just the way of the internet. That's how you blow up.
That's the, no. That's
nasty.
That's the thing though, that makes him into a I eat Tide Pods kind of sensation versus a you have good content and I appreciate you and I respect you sensation, okay? He just dropped a vid this week titled, I'm going to take Tom's advice to me. All right, hold on, Google. Hello, Google.
The Googs. blowing me up.
Okay, so I can't find it, but that's okay. I don't need to. I don't really care that as much as all that.
Yeah, well,
I don't
Maybe
get.
we'll have something to talk about for next podcast too. Once we learn about that a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
it was just interesting that he came up with a remix right while we're still live. So I was like, that's interesting.
Well, dude, if it took us that long to get through the original, I really don't want to go through another one right now.
No,
Maybe
that's
next
completely
time.
fine. I'm just saying it was just interesting that it came up while we were live. But
Yeah, that's wild. 10 hours. Man, the dude's no slouch.
well, I'm definitely. I think we've dove deep.
You got it.
Dove deep enough at this point. I think we've gone on long enough that I think we can end it here. I am waiting. By the way, Nick, where's your reaction? Just waiting on it. But y'all check out Skulls. His information's in the description. The video is in the description. And in all honesty, I am tired, and this was a good conversation, but Lord have mercy, my brain is like...
Yeah, I'm a little fried too.
Exactly. But I appreciate anybody that has come through at any point in time during this entire time, and anybody that is going to listen in the future. And if you got to this point, you're a G, like legit, because it's been like
fucking goats.
yes, it's been like 3 hours, and we appreciate you and we love you. And join the Discord. Come say hi if you are not part of it, which most people are, but that's okay. We're hoping that at some point there are new people that run into something like this and decide to pay attention, decide to take a listen, and then join up and come say hi and tell us what you think. Good, bad, or indifferent. By the way, if you're being an asshole, though, I'm going to kick you from the server, but I love you.
Bye.
Anyway, so y'all, I'm going to go ahead and I think we're both going to go and just chill out for a minute. But I will leave you with what y'all want. Just, for a minute. You know what that is? Can you guess what that is?
Is it a song?
Oh, yes, it is.
I figured it out.
I'm going to mute us, and actually, he's going to mute himself, and I'm going to play the song. Are you ready? Let's go.
I'm ready.
All right. All right, y'all have a good night.
Night, guys.
Here's the problem with America, the country is broken. Cause they minds stay closed, but they mouths stay open. Get attacked and we blame terrorists, go broken, we blame the price. Blame racists for the racism, but only if his skin is white. If we don't need guns, cause we can call the police. We don't need fire extinguishers, call a fireman, please. You didn't wanna build a wall and now the border is weak. Your favorite actor has a gate that's like 15 feet. Racism is gay, if you're offended, that's retarded. And tolerance is great until you speak and you're a target. If a white man paints his face black, he's a racist piece of garbage. But you put him in a dress and he's courageous and he's gorgeous. All these double standards, man, I'm tired of the noise. Freedom's an illusion if they censor your voice. Call a dad a deadbeat for neglecting his boys, but a mom kills a baby and you call it pro-choice. You act like you're so much better than us. Yeah, we know that. Who told you that you so special? To a new world order. Your facts ain't facts without censoring us. Yeah, we know that. Good job, you lose, here's your medal. To a new world order.
Why they hate the flag, they try to